Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host, Mucky Hope, and tonight, man, oh man, is a special night. I've never had such the honor, such the privilege of experiencing quite literally a once-in-a-lifetime kind of moment. Survivor fans dream of moments like this. Podcasters, like they try and make it happen, but it's too much pressure, it's too much work, and they crumble. But not me, not at Mucky Hope Productions. We make the impossible happen, and I'm so delighted and so honored to be chatting with arguably one of the most loveliest people I've ever genuinely met. She's so kind, so loving, so caring. She's one of the biggest super fans to ever play Australian Survivor, an accolade which actually does have some weight to it now. Everyone, please welcome the great, the wonderful, the ecstatic, it's the amazing Eliza!
Oh my God. I'm so happy to be here. I flew all the way from Los Angeles, from Antarctica, because when I heard the call to be on Mucky Hope Productions, I gave it up just to come and speak to you. Whew, that trap door really comes in handy in my house, though. How cool is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, when we discussed, hey, let's do a deep dive, I actually had dinner reservations with Parvati, with Kelly Wentworth, David Gannett, Taylor Hale, but I was like, you know what? Stuff it. You're nothing to me. You're like a wart under my toenail. I'm here to talk with the goddesses. I'm here with the great Eliza.
I wish that was the first time I've heard that, but it's not. It's really not. I'm so excited to reconnect with you after this entire experience has gone down. The reunion happened, big after party happened, and now we all get to, players and community and media and podcasters alike get to really just hold each other by the hand and go, wow, that was big. Redemption Island, it was a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, something that I'm very excited about, because we actually chatted a little bit just before the season started, and then we met at the watch party with Rich, but we actually haven't really chatted since then. So I'm so excited to hear all your takes across the season, how you're feeling about everything now, and just how have you been recently? Now that the season's all over, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I feel so good. I think that you'll probably hear across the board that a lot of the players in my year group are kind of relieved that it's over. And I know that sounds kind of strange, but you can only be at so much of an adrenaline level for so long. When we're in trouble in the game, we're feeling it in real life, but we have to go about our normal days and pretend like nothing's happening. And the episodes before we get booted, it's so torturous waiting for that. So when it's all over, everyone has been booted. There's been crowned an excellent winner that I think everyone is so as supportive of and happy. Everyone's got their flowers. We had this amazing reunion on the Sydney Harbour with fireworks and David Janae on a motorcycle. It so just cool, feels like such a nice resolution, and that we can actually, probably maybe introduce a little bit more of who we are outside of this amazing adventure. So I'm probably feeling a lot better than when I last spoke to you, when it was probably just after I got eliminated, and you're feeling all the same feelings, you're back on the island, and watching it back for the first time is such a cognitive rigmarole. So I'm doing really well. How are you post season? How did you enjoy it, or hate it, or love it?
Yeah. I hated the season. It's worse than blood versus water. No. It's been such an interesting season for me, because I've had a lot of life stuff sort of going on at the same time as well, and I've connected with so many of you guys as well. So it doesn't feel like I'm watching a Survivor season. I feel like I'm watching a season filled with people. It's I've met these people. I'm genuinely friends with quite a few. Yeah, exactly. And so when someone says something nasty about you or Ted, I'm like, what? You talk that back, But and when every time you guys do great, I'm super happy for you guys as well. But I'm in the kind of same boat with I'm sad that the season's over. I'm kind of relieved because I've got like a lot of like work stuff kind of going on at the moment. But it was such a great season, Eliza. It really was such a fun season. And I think to kick off a new age of Survivor, like I'd love to hear your thoughts. Because like, are you like a super fan of Survivor, or would you say you're more just like a normalish like kind of fan of Survivor?
Well, it was hard because like it depends who you're speaking to, because when you're a Survivor player and hanging out with the biggest Survivor fans in the world, suddenly my fandom doesn't look so big. But like before I went on Survivor, I was the biggest Survivor fan that I knew. No, like I didn't have any Survivor friends. I didn't have any like, I really wanted to go to like the Sydney like Zetland Hotel, I think, watch parties. But I was like too shy because like I would go by myself and I'd like didn't want to go by myself. And so now I just want to say to like anyone who's nerdy enough to listen to like Eliza, Reilly, Mucky Hope like deep dive after the season, like, and you've had any reservations about coming to any of these people's beautiful events, just come by yourself. I'll probably be there and you can make heaps of friends. So that was like a really, in a weird way, it was a big part of why I came on Survivor, is because I was like, I want to talk about Survivor with people, and maybe getting on the show is the only way that I can meet fans. And I definitely did that with like Richard and Tez, who are absolute super fans. Like I consider like Richard's a very analytical, like we're all fans, but Richard has a real strength around his analysis and analytical mind. Like he can name any number, any stat, any like thing. Tez is an amazing community fan. Like he has really created amazing communities over a decade, like over 15 years. And neither of them are like me. I don't have any like community, and I certainly couldn't tell you any numbers. So I'm a real like heart-based storyteller, a little bit of a spiritual fan. Like I genuinely think that Survivor is a spiritual experience, and like everything that you need to know or need to become as a nice, beautiful, well-rounded human being can be learned from the game. And like, so it was super, super important to me. But when I did my auditions, the producers didn't believe me that I was a fan. They thought, and I got to speak to a lot of them at the reunion where they were like, we thought you were lying. We thought you were doing it for clout and Instagram followers. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, 300 followers, thanks. Yeah, starving and sleeping on. How desperate do you think I am? But they're like, no, we get it now. We get it now that you're a fan. But yeah, they were like, why? Yeah, I think it's just, I've always been really drawn to the themes and the, I don't mean to be weird about it, but like the spiritual, like home of this show, which is society, community, and like in a world where you can't trust anyone, you're forced to trust someone. And like, I think that's a really beautiful theme and idea. And also it's like, if you go into a different platform, it's about like it's a great like social critique on democracy. Like everyone has a vote. Like, and I think around like, it just never gets old. Even like it's been going on for so long, these ideas of like, if you don't value someone, they still have a vote at the end of the day and they're still worth that vote. And like that democracy or everyone having their vote is the power that we have as a collective. And that's like, it just like blows your mind when you're like, wait, how is Survivor put in the same realm as like Love Island or Maths? Yes, they are beautiful. I'm fans of those shows, but like Survivor can be analyzed through so many different paradigms, which like I experienced not only as a fan, but like now as a player, it's like even more dense and delicious. I'm still a huge fan of the show, but I haven't been able to watch it since I've played. So I guess I have to get back into.
Well, because one of the things that Survivor's actually given me, you know, being a super fan, is I loved like the Hunger Games and like Squid Games, but probably not for the same reason why a lot of other people would love them. I love Squid Games because
film? What was the Japanese? There was a Japanese film that was like really similar to the Hunger Games about like.
Isn't that there's a battle royale or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one, but
you should. It's so good.
Yeah. Honestly, I've got a long list of movies I need to watch. Honestly, I'm really bad with keeping up to date with all these movies. But it's the same sort of like
conceit of like these people are trapped on an island.
Exactly. But what I love so much about Squid Game, like a lot of people love Squid Game because of like the games, the drama and whatnot. What I loved is what happens when you put 456 really desperate people who's like would rather compete in childhood games where if you lose, you die because their life at home is so much more shit that they'd rather just randomly be killed off by a children's game. And like you see, like, you know, with characters like Sung Woo, for example, he's already plotting how can I get rid of my closest friends. You get what I mean? And it's like I just love seeing that and understanding the social manipulation, social politics and whatnot and stuff. And I think this is what Survivor's actually given a lot of us. Like it is a political commentary on the world. And it's just so fascinating and just so fun to watch.
And the choices that people make, like I love some of the character as like, because I'm a writer and I work in scripted television, and like some of the character arcs that you get on Survivor, because you're forcing like interesting people into very perilous and like complicated situations where there is no correct answer. Like you get some really, really interesting choices and some people behaving in ways that they didn't even think were possible, especially when you make them really hungry and really cold. Yeah, it's like there is like from the player perspective, there is like the process of making Survivor, and then there's the product of making Survivor. And it's kind of like we're all collectively making the product together, but then there are relationships and choices and dynamics that don't even get into the product, but is still a part of the process. And so like we all make this TV show together, but the process of making it is also entirely different to the product that you see. So like that's also really interesting. And especially like how do people recover from when you say like, you know, when the social dynamics of backstabbing people, it's always so like beautiful watching how people recover from their failures. And like as a fan, I watch that and go like, okay, like it's okay to fail, and it's about how you recover and pivot and about staying open and believing in yourself. And I just think that's such a beautiful message, and it's like I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, I guess going right all the way back to the start. So right before, I guess there's a lot of other like confirmations happening about the season. There's some breaking news that JLP's been sacked and most likely David's going to be the host of Survivor. What's your sort of thoughts and feelings on all of that happening?
I went, ooh, mamma mia. I really grew to really appreciate JLP. And that, I guess, like everyone had those feelings of like, I guess coming from a film and television background, I guess I had a little bit more of like an empathy or an insight around like things like contract negotiations, things like budget cuts, things that like are out of people's control. But then also like I am genuinely so happy to see David take the reins. Of course, like probably I was feeling the exact same way that he was probably, which was like nervous and probably like, this is going to be big. I hope it doesn't fuck up. And like I was joking to my friends being like, well, I'm on the last season of Australian Survivor. It's official.
Hey, Do not say those curse words, all right? There could be a reality at some point. So
knock, knock. Yeah, no. It will never die. I reckon David has enough coin to self-fund an entire season of Survivor, even if it gets
probably.
axed. David, and I know you're listening. You have to fund the next season if it gets cut. But I guess I was a bit like, oh shit, I'm going into a brand new experience, but the person who's going to be leading us is also brand new to it. Fuck, that's going to feel even more scary. But like, it's kind of nice having someone who's very experienced at the helm, because at least you feel like the air hostess knows what they're doing. But knowing that it's going to be a first-time cabin crew while you're up in the sky with them, it was a little bit scary. But like, honestly, as soon as we got out there, all of my fears were assuaged. Like, David is not only is he, what I really, really value about David is that because like I'm a Nepo baby, my parents work in film and television, I do, my sister does, my brother does, and seeing how much of a pro he is and seeing how much he values the crew and the entire machine of how a television show is put on, like he really is such a pro. And I think it's really cool that someone, look, if a big, strong man has to host one of our primetime television shows, I'm glad he's the big, strong man, because like he's very funny and he's very nice, and just I think he takes care of people, which is really nice to see. But I wonder what JLP is going to do with his newfound spare time.
Yeah,
Jeff Probst?
I would hope so. I don't know if you've seen any of my stuff, but currently my top leading video is that Jeff Probst needs to be sacked for Survivor US to be good again. That's my
I haven't watched season 50, but I haven't either. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So we're in the same boat. Like I've heard a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I want no part of it. Like I really don't. So.
He says, I protest, and it will be heard around the world.
Exactly. You know?
No, I mean, look, Survivor season 50 seems like a really gorgeous way to go out if you are someone like Jeff Probst. Yeah. But look, man, he is, I think that probably he's the showrunner of the show. So not only is he the host, he is the CFO of the company. So he is also responsible for people's well-being. In challenges, Jeff Probst is not only the person who is hosting the challenge, but he is also the one that needs to make the call if anyone hurts themselves. Like he is the final call. I don't know any like host that has been like the showrunner and the host of a show. Like I just think like there's not many people that can do that job. Like there's not many people that can walk from a work health place and safety meeting, a fire meeting, like a budget meeting, and then walk straight into a wardrobe and put on puka shell necklaces and like do his hair. Like he has to do everything and has to do it like whatever. But like if someone needs to go for the betterment of the show, then that's it. But like I guess I do really look, if anyone can do it and help Jeff, it will be JLP. And so congratulations to everyone.
I mean, my whole thing has always been, it's not like that I hate Jeff Probst. It's not like I want him like to die or anything. I think he's had a wonderful career, and I'm so grateful for him for building the foundation on what is like one of our favorite reality TV shows, if not TV show of all time, right? He's created this universe, which I'm so grateful for, that I've fallen in love with, you know, but with me personally, like I haven't been a fan of like New Era since like season 43, and just like seeing.
Is that because of the pace?
It's actually like a mixture of stuff. So one of them is like for lose your vote, the beware advantages. I feel like it harms people's games, and like for gameplay to happen more so than enhances it, if that sort of makes sense. And even like
because it makes it creates choices that are made out of scarcity. Like, is that what you mean? Like that it's fearful choices. Like,
like for example, if it's like if it's a, you know, random tribe. It's like me, you, Tez, and Rich, right? It's like, I'm cooked. There's nothing out of this. Yeah, I'll be so cooked. You guys are like, we're all besties, you know, we all love each other. Oh, who's this Mucky guy? He's just some podcaster from New Zealand, you know, let's fling him.
Wait,
And
what?
there's probably nothing I could do about it. But
no,
if there's maybe like 10, 12, 8, 9 people, there's so many other possibilities you can do. Exactly, yeah. And I feel like the smaller the tribe, like I love the idea. You force people into like you've got nowhere to hide, like sink or swim. But I feel like as soon as 2 people pair up, like it's over. They've already got half the tribe, you know. So that's been my sort of thoughts and feelings about things, and it's just been like a gradual decline. But was it when season 44 came out? I think there was when like Heroes vs Villains was airing or something like that for Australia. So it's like you've got the massive hiatus of Australian Survivor, and it's like I've always loved Australian Survivor. So I feel like it's what a time to be an Aussie Survivor fan, and then American Survivor, which I've just like less and less enjoyed, and then comes Titans vs Rebels. Like, oh my gosh, how even more amazing! Titans vs Rebels, you know, and then Australia vs. the World's coming out. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is everything I want to see. Whereas American Survivor, for me personally, has always just been like just going downhill, even to the point where it reached 50s. I was just like, no, you know, yeah. But that's just me. And
that 24-day game, it's 24 days, isn't it? Yeah.
26, I think.
Sorry, 26. Yeah. That 26-day game is like so brutal when it comes to storytelling and like that. I guess the strategies are so different when it comes to that time, but then also like, I guess the Survivor the Survivor fan in me was like, oh, well, you've got to consider the length of your choices depending on what type of game you're playing. But then when you're out there on the television show, half of the players haven't even seen Survivor. So it's like, they're not considering that either. Like, they don't know how they should be playing. So like, you know, they don't know that like there's a difference between how you should be playing pre-merge in America compared to how you're playing pre-merge in Australia. I of course know those differences, but like so you're going to get amazing television no matter what. And I think that probably the casting is such a good credit to that they don't want heaps and heaps of super fans like the Americans like have. They have a really good mix. That I think creates really interesting television and really interesting choices. Like you go in thinking you know something, but then when you play with people who don't know anything, like I don't know anything either. What am I talking about? But like I guess players who haven't seen the show that they're on creates really dynamic and interesting choices. So I like good luck to the future of US Survivor. Like good luck.
Well, I think Australia versus the World actually proved it doesn't matter how many days the show is. If you've got the right cast, it will be phenomenal, you know. And obviously, Australia versus the World is a rare exception because of who they actually managed to get on that season. But you still had super fans like George, Sarah, you know, Tommy, Lisa on the World Tribe, who still could appreciate the season as well. And I feel like you need a good mix, I think, of like super fans who like appreciate what the game is and what's happening, and like like literally shot in the darks, like people who've never seen the show before, because sometimes, you know, come up with completely wacky, crazy, awesome things. Like
and they're just playing with confidence.
Exactly.
Because they're not thinking about it too hard. You know, they don't have they have that benefit of like naivete that can make you really, really, really good.
Yeah. I would love to talk about. Oh, sorry, after you.
I really liked Versus the World. We got to watch it in the pre-game. And so I think that set the tone for a lot of us. Like they gave us like the little previews on little thumb drives to watch in our room. And I think that probably set the tone for a lot of the game. is because it's like literally the only thing that we could do was watch this show that was amazing and bombastic. And I think that really helped us all want to play like those heroes.
Yeah. I don't know how, if I was ever casted, I don't know how I would have been able to cope not talking to anyone while watching Australia versus the World. Like, I feel like that would have been, I feel like that would have been a nightmare.
No, you would just create your own fantasy world and like fake podcast to like a soccer ball and just be like, what do you think? Like, you could just host your own podcast. I'll put my hand up and say I really, really struggled with the pregame. And like anyone who's going to go on and play that period of time, some people adore it and some people hate it. And I really, really didn't cope with the pregame at all. It was one of the hardest parts of my entire Survivor experience. Yeah.
Well, let's take it all the way back. You get the phone call, Eliza, we love you. Would like to have you, on Australian Survivor Redemption. Like, what was that moment like for you?
It was really bizarre. I had just come out of Mission Impossible 3, and I was already feeling really on edge. And then getting the call from one of the producers where you're like, I just had to breathe and be like, your life is going to change after this phone call. So just pick it up and be calm. I was not calm, obviously, when I picked up the phone. But it also felt like this really weird alignment of I knew I was going to get on as soon as I applied. And so that thing, just everything came together and I was like, well, here we go. It was honestly that time in my pregame, I was one of the first people to get cast. I got called very soon after my callback. I was quite quickly cast. And so I had a lot of time to prepare and I prepared. I quit work and focused full time on preparing for Survivor. I worked my little booty off and that time was such a happy time for me to feel focused and energized and passionate. And suddenly my full-time job was watching Survivor and practicing puzzles and doing balancing and going to the gym and eating hamburgers. My dream life, suddenly was my sole job. It was to get ready for Survivor. And I loved carrying that little secret. And I just couldn't wait to meet everyone. It's important to try to remember back to when you first played the game, because inevitably everyone's hearts gets absolutely broken on Survivor. Whether you lose fast or lose last, you're gonna lose. And it's so it's really important to kind of just remember the gratitude. And I want to be able to express to the fans and the future players, because if you're watching this, you're probably playing, to be fair, if you're a nerd enough to watch this. So I worked really hard and I just, I always kind of really secretly resented it in listening to post-game players podcasts where they would be I didn't care, or I didn't do anything, or I just blah. I was if I ever got the chance, I would do this and that. So I really just tried to be okay, prepare you're every single Survivor fan who wishes they got the opportunity to. Don't be that person who goes I don't know, I didn't read the rules, I just left everything to the last minute, which is actually a genuine strategy, and I'm not poo-pooing that. But for me, as a fan, I found that frustrating to listen to. So I was I'm just gonna work my ass off. My slide puzzles are beautiful. I can do a slide puzzle probably quicker than a dancer, and I'll I'll go toe to toe with that guy with his slide puzzles. And Tony's a good slide puzzle guy too.
Yeah, well, surely Australia vs. the World 2, they bring back Tony, you, Nick, Tony, slide puzzle, duke it out.
Yeah. They're going to have every person from around the world who got voted out third, and we're all going to play.
That would be actually a very fun season. Every
craziest motherfucking game. be
Well,
so weird. I love it. I would love it.
yeah. Like a lot of fans have been talking about like a first boot kind of season as well. And I'd be so down with that.
I would
First
be
boot season would be
so
good.
down with that. Like, I think
Yeah.
that would. Well, David was saying on his Instagram that he wants to do like a Survivor revenge. So I think that that's such a good theme of like, I definitely could slot myself into a Survivor revenge. And that means you could have a first boot and you could have a zero jury finalist.
Yeah.
Like a zero vote jury finalist, like in the same game. It would be so fun.
Yeah, and then you can have a George with the rivalry with Simon, with Emmett, with Joey, with Luke, with Jenny. Like it'll be George against half the cast, pretty much, and that's your
yes. And like Survivor players that have dated one another and now they don't date, like that could be a good like revenge.
Was Survivor X on the beach, and it's like one world style.
Do you know what? The show's been going on long enough that I reckon you'd have a whole cast of like one tribe is one X and the whole other tribe is the other X.
Yeah. Or maybe like blood versus water, but you bring back people who have like done a divorce or breakup. The X's, yeah, but they're on with like their new couples. If this will make sense. So you got this different intertwine. Yeah, I reckon that'd be so funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you'd have like the new couples actually working together to vote us out.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
that would be so good.
What was the main prep you were going through in terms of training for Survivor?
So I was lucky enough that like I'm a freelance writer, so I could be like, I'm not writing, and I had enough savings that I could do that. And I work as a Pilates instructor. On the weekends for like pocket money. And so I was able to go to Pilates. So my typical day looked like this. I would do a Pilates class and then I would got a trainer and did a strength training class. Or I would do a strength training class and then like a conditioning like class session. Yeah. And then I would like watch like as much Survivor as I could. And then I would like watch Survivor, make puzzles. Like I made a lot of the puzzles, like would print them out, laminate them, do them. And then I would just go for hours of walks, listening to the deep dives of or every Australian like Survivor play. I did deep dives and then would write notes on the deep dives. And my prep also can like a lot of the prep was about wardrobe and about how to strategize that. Like it takes a lot of time to like order clothes. They come in, you don't like them, send them back. What else are you going to look at? Like I spent a lot of time on my wardrobe. Prepping also like, I guess I get to tell you the sneaky things I do because like Simon in his like post interviews told like the sneaky things. So I guess I get to tell the sneaky things. I took a lot of inspiration from like those past players where like inevitably one of them would always sneak something in. So it was definitely one of my goals to like sneak as much stuff in as possible because like I think it's like a part of like the Survivor player legacy. But like it's just one of those little things you have to have to find an idol and you have to like sneak some contraband in so that you can talk about it in the post game. So I think my trick that I think worked really well is like I'm gonna probably regret saying this, but you're not allowed anything waterproof, right? As a part of the rules. And they check the brands, they check everything. Nothing can be waterproof. And so I came up with this solution where I got jackets that were not waterproof and I got commercial grade mechanic silicone and spent weeks and weeks like spraying all of the fibers of the outside of my jackets.
That is so smart.
Thank you so much. So that it didn't look like silicone, but it was waterproof. And you can see on the show that Caleb and Jackson and Lottie, Caleb and Jackson, right to the very end, wore my jackets the entire way.
Mhm.
And like that, I think that's because of that mechanical grade silicon. I wanted a way to be able
Yeah.
to like get it through the production without them realizing that I'd waterproofed my outerwear.
Because I work at MacPack as well, and one of the ideas I've always had was using like Nick wax, because that's also like a water resistant. It's also like a water resistant waterproofing kind of spray. I don't think it makes things fully waterproof, but it definitely does add like layers of like water repellency. But yeah, just like consistently keep putting over like your clothes over and over and over, and then hopefully like once you're actually out there, like it's like waterproof to at least somewhat of a good degree, or sneaking in something like fleece and lined and whatnot as well. Like, yeah, like
fleece lined,
just that stuff. Yeah, like using production would have put on tonight.
They don't like anything fleece lined. Like, and do you know what? Also, like fleece lined is. Oh, well, I did do like fleece. Like you try with the jackets, but like anything else, like it's so humid and dank. Like probably fleece wouldn't serve you so well because it couldn't get dry. But like also, like I know that Simon sewed in tooth floss because I think Aussie sewed in tooth floss to his jacket. So I was like, well, I got to try and sew something into my jacket because it's like it's a love letter to those players. So I did sew in some really cool stuff into that rainbow jacket, and Caleb actually found some of it like well after I was eliminated, and he used something that I put in there that could be used as like a fish hook, and like, but it wasn't like spiky or anything, but like that's why he went out on the boat and was able to fish through this shit that he found in my jacket. And like that was only a connection that we found out post game, and we lost it. Like it's so romantic and crazy that like little Eliza, before she played Survivor, had this idea, and then it happened to ricochet throughout the game, even when I wasn't there, and it helped another player that I didn't even know or get to play with in the game. Like, and that it is all a domino effect, and like your positivity and your brain power can actually affect and help someone else. And like I think that's why I'm kind of wanting to be so open with the information that I share, because if I can help someone out there, and like you're thinking, like that is like such a big reward for me, that like that the lessons that I wasn't able to learn, hopefully you can learn them. And like that's a beautiful passing on of the game from player to player, from generation to generation, and it will just make the game like way more interesting.
Yeah, 100%. What is one thing you took with us from like the deep dives or watching like other seasons of Survivor? What is one thing that really stuck out to you that made you be like, I need to remember this when playing?
Oh my God. Oh my God. So much. I brought up my my like document, my like gameplay document, like just to so I have like 20 tabs. One of them is just gameplay, and that has over 10,000 words in it. Like I learned so much. I think that the things that I learned so much from the other players, but I think that the thing that I personally, and don't do this because I came out third, but like I was really, to be honest, I was thinking a lot later in the game than I should have been. I was thinking about like the strategic mechanics of like swap onwards, when it's like, if you don't get it, if you don't make it to swap, you're not able to use the strategies. So like I would like, I think that now, having been a player, and I've heard this over and over and over again, and that's why I was like kicking myself, but like the one thing that I think I would take from the players now that I didn't really listen to is have fun and be open to the opportunities, and don't get caught in your head. Like, again, if you're the type of nerd that's like you're about to go into your callback probably, like, and you're watching this, I would recommend that you shut me off and turn off Survivor altogether, because like you're going to have to go onto the island and meet 23 really important people, and they're going to ask you about your life, and you don't want the answer to be my answer, which was, all I do is go to the gym and do puzzles, and my boyfriend's a Survivor player, and all I do is watch Survivor. Like, you do not want that to be the answer. You are not an interesting or a captivating person. And like, so I would say if you are in the callbacks right now, just forget Survivor exists and like go and do the things that make you the most you. So go spend time with your loved ones and the things that make you the most you, because when you enter the game, you're gonna want to be able to draw on the good times, because there's a lot of bad times on the island.
Yeah.
Oh, and when there's an opening challenge where 2 members are sequestered from the rest of the tribe, there's going to be an idol.
Yes. Well, I was kind of shocked that you being a massive fan maybe didn't quite pick up on that. But just before we do go to the opening challenge and going out to all that, the season's theme is redemption. And, obviously we've got returning players coming out there, with a game to prove, with if they've made mistakes, almost won, people from other like reality TV shows. What was your personal redemption story? It doesn't have to be the reason that like was like showed on TV or you're telling the producers. What is something within yourself that you went out there being, I want this to be redeemed?
Well, I'll talk about it. I never ever spoke about it on the show, but I might as well talk about it now. Like my on-screen redemption story was that I'm a writer who has been studying badass women of Australian history my whole life. So now it's my turn to become a badass woman of Survivor history.
Yeah.
Because I wrote this like best-selling book called Sheila's, which was celebrating badass women of Australian history. And so I used that book as a way to like get on the show. I was like, I'm the writer, I'm the historian. And I use that in my audition a lot. But my real redemption, which is that like I actually went through the biggest heartbreak ever during the pandemic of like a 10-year relationship. I went through such a low depression, and we used to watch Survivor together. And when you're heartbroken, there is the old you that has to die to get through the breakup. And so the new me that was so calcified and going through so much growth from being heartbroken actually turned me into someone who could play Survivor. And I just was like, not that this was my primary reason for doing it, but it certainly gave me a lot of like, how fucking cool would this be?
Yeah.
If I got on the show that me and my ex-boyfriend used to watch as like our little ritual, and we used to talk about it, and now I'm like I'm actually now, motherfucker. Like all those people that we used to talk about, they're my friends now. Like Simon is my mate, Harry is my mate. Like how fucking cool is this? Like, you should have never have dumped me, but the only reason why I'm here today is because you dumped me. Like, ring! Like, isn't that such a cool, like, full circle moment? And like, I just thought, like, I mean, I don't talk to him. I haven't spoken to him since we've broken up. This has been like 5 years, but like, there's always something, a bit of a rock star, a bit of a storyteller in me that's like, the ultimate form of revenge or redemption is success. And like, I thought that would be just too delicious to pass up. And like, I just am very proud. If I had not gone through this breakup, I would not be on Survivor. And so like, I have to give it credit. But yeah, so that was the secret. Like, I've only just
Yeah.
started talking about this today, like for the first time ever. I was too like
Oh, wow.
embarrassed to talk about it on camera because like I didn't want
Yeah.
him to have the satisfaction of being a part of my game. But like
Yeah.
now I'm like, I want to just be as honest as I can now that I don't have any like obligations to anyone but myself.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of Khan actually in Blood vs. Water. So when Khan played Blood vs. Water, he got to have like a poster, right? And he specifically put it at an intersection where I think one, maybe two of his ex-boyfriends had to drive past every single day on the way to work. So every time they went to work, they'd see this massive poster of Khan at this intersection. Oh, which is so funny. But I just want to say, I'm so proud of you as well, Eliza. I really am, because well, I can never relate to a 10-year heartbreak. Like we've all gone through heartbreak with relationships or with people that we love and whatnot, and it must have been so hard from doing this thing that used to do with your ex-boyfriend for 10 years and whatnot. There must have been so many different memories, thoughts and feelings going through your head and whatnot. And I think the fact that you actually went out, you did it, like I think it's just so badass. It really is. Like I'm really happy and proud that you actually went out and played.
Yeah, oh my God, thank you so much. It was such a long journey to get there that I did only sort of start remembering like how fun that, I guess, that revenge fantasy is. Like every couple has their little rituals, but now I've ruined it for them because like I'm on it.
Because you're on it.
Like this is so naughty of me to be taught. Like I don't usually give a lot of airtime to like this part of my soul. Like I'm usually quite a nice, but like I just, it is like truthful and delicious that like everyone, I hope that everyone has a really big heartbreak because it changes you forever. And it sends you on a trajectory that you never thought possible. And if mine was to go on Survivor, like everyone should get heartbroken as quickly as possible.
All right. But you've got to apply for Survivor. Break up with your partners. Get into some family feud so your family stops talking to you. End all your closest friendships. This is how you get casted.
Kill your dog.
Well,
it's true. That is like really honest, and like I'll probably have an anxiety hangover for talking about it, but it's the goddamn truth.
Yeah. And you finally arrive to survive, and as you said, a lot of like the pre stuff was like really hard for you. What was, I guess, like the hardest part for you in terms of like the pre-game just before going out?
Man. Well, I didn't realize that I actually had like really bad anxiety until I went into the pregame and was like, "Oh my God." I didn't cope well. I didn't cope well with the I'm not exactly sure how much I'm allowed to talk about it. I didn't cope well with the isolation. I didn't cope well with the constraints that are put. By the way, I should also say I completely know and understand why they put you through a pre-game process, because it would be outright dangerous to put normal people like Richard's a CEO. You have like Caleb, who's like an absolute, he's used to taking charge of his own destiny. If you put these people straight in the game, it would be like really reckless. You need to acclimatize people into having less control than they're used to, less comforts and utilities that they're used to. I just really didn't like being alone in like a concrete 2x2 room for long stretches of time with nothing to do. Like I really don't like that. I've learned that as a person. Like Paula slept the entire time. She had the best time ever. She came onto Survivor feeling like refreshed, like she's come out of a day's she had it depends on who you are. Some people really love it and some people find it incredibly uncomfortable. And I found it incredibly, incredibly uncomfortable. I need people. I have ADHD. I need stimulation. It's just, it's the creature, it's the breed of animal that I am. But yeah, it's pregame was also beneficial, I guess, because I obviously had put my eyes on who the returnees were. And I had downloaded every post-game interview or podcast interview that I could and ripped it and put it on my iPod so that I was able to listen to their interviews and take notes on them. I actually think now that did me a real disservice because obviously it did me everything did me a disservice. I came out so early.
Yeah. Did you go up to Harry and Simon and be like, oh, don't worry, I know who you are. I have you on my iPod.
No, I think for Harry in particular, I was listening to a lot of his content where he was post his last 2 games and he was speaking about this idea that he's happy to blindside anyone. It's not personal.
Yeah.
That alliances aren't really alliances to him until they're not only when they're useful to him, and then he's happy to cut it. And I think that a part of his redemption story was actually changing that story for himself and actually creating connections with people. I didn't know that. And so I was looking at him from a very, very narrow point of view where I can't work with you because you are going to stab anyone in the back and you have said that proudly for years. How can I do this? And I think that if I had just gone in with an open mind, I would be able to receive him because he wanted to redeem that. He actually genuinely wanted to change that story for himself and actually lock in and work with people. So in a game like Survivor, you can't really judge a player by their past because they're going to want to play differently or they're going to want to double down on what they did the last time before and you don't know it. So I'm saying to one of my friends who's quite he's getting down into the audition process, and I'm like, don't study, don't worry about it too much. If there are returnees, they're gonna want to play a different game. They're gonna want to advance their game. They're gonna want to be better players. So I made the mistake of thinking that I was meeting the Harry that I was listening to from the past. But I was looking at a brand new Harry who all he wanted to do is have ride or die allies. And that's exactly what I wanted in the game. So it kind of is that I got to take responsibility for that.
Yeah. And what's your thoughts on the other 3 returning players? So Brooke, Mark, Simon, quick rundown. You see them out there. What's sort of going through your head when you're seeing these other returning players?
I see Brooke, Mark, Harry, Simon, and I say, no fair. What the fuck? Why? I've finally gotten onto my dream show. And as the producer and the writer and the television girl inside of me goes, okay, we already have our 4 leads. I do not know this. I genuinely don't know this. But it is my assumption that they are being paid by production to be there. So they're going to have to get their airtime. And especially because Shawnee has talked about reappearance fees and other players have talked about their reappearance fees quite openly. So I was okay, well, so that means that the players the producers are already designing shows around their redemption arcs. And they're the leads. Therefore, and also so that's the product thinking. So then the process, the actual game, I was okay, so that means to make it through merge, you're going to have to be a +1 of 4 returnees. That's 8 and a few more. So I was okay, you're going to have to be a +1 of a returnee. And that was quickly created by like Paula to Harry and Lottie to Simon. So that means as a newbie, you're not only having like the 4 main characters kind of push you to the back, whoever they lock in with, that means that you are like 3rd step behind, as opposed to like in an all newbie play season, it's a lot more egalitarian.
Yeah, I think that's the right word.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say it like there's a lot more openness with who are going to become the main characters, but you already have your 4 main characters locked in, and like it's in the title, redemption. So there is a like as the writer, I'm like, there is a product promise that these characters are going to get their redemption. So it just made me, I guess, feel a little bit like, how am I going to get a voice not only in this tribe but as a character in the product? Like, it just made everything a little bit harder. Am I so glad that I played with returnees? Hell yeah. Like, they are amazing. Like, they are fucking awesome. I love them. Like, they taught me, Simon in particular, like, he taught me so much about the game, and it was so amazing, like, having them like be there, like in the tribe. Like, I obviously was keeping a low profile, and I only spoke to Simon very briefly about, like, I was like, yeah, I listened to your deep dive and I suffer from anxiety too, and that made me sad that you had anxiety. And he was like, yeah. Okay, he's bounced back. But he like, I feel like, I know this sounds probably so deluded, but I am technically a reality TV star now, so I'm allowed to be deluded. But I feel like I got such an amazing masterclass on Survivor. And like, I'm way better off coming out 3rd in a returnee season than coming out 3rd in a newbie season. Like, I know so much about the game now, and it's thanks to them. And I think that's why I think there's a lot of disconnect with maybe the fans that are like, why aren't you voting them out? Why aren't you targeting them? Like, they create so much value to the tribe in ways that, like, you don't see in the gameplay. They know how the pace of the filming and the shooting day goes. They know what to stand up for to production and what to like let go. Like, I was having some problems, like I was having medical issues, I was having like practical issues, and Simon would go to production and bat for me and protect me in ways that I would be like, oh, I didn't even know that I could ask for that. I didn't even know that I could stand up for myself. And Simon's like, yeah, no worries. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad Simon's here. Like, and I think that's like a lot of, I think that goes above a lot of the fans' heads that are like, why are you getting him out? It's a 24-hour game, and we only get to play Survivor for maybe 12 of those hours. Like, and so if someone is there protecting you and looking out for you, even not on the game, not even as an alliance member, but just as a nice human, like, they do provide a lot of value. And like, there's a reason why they weren't voted out, like, in the way that they were. Like, we're not idiots. Like, but when you're stranded on an island, you need to survive. And these people know how to survive.
Yeah. And especially being a super fan as well, it must have been so crazy sharing a beach with Dirty Harry, one of the most infamous Australian Survivor players ever, and with Simon, one of the most hapless Survivor players ever, like 2 legends, and like in the Australian Survivor universe.
It was like, so frustrating. It was so frustrating.
Oh, frustrating.
Like, yeah. It was so frustrating because, like, I didn't want them on the island. Like, but like, they're there. And so you have to, like, because like, I think that, like, I knew way too much. And like, no one else, I don't think anyone else, and come for me in the comments, and players come for me, but like, No one on fucking Bounty Tribe was like, oh, Harry and Simon are obviously really good friends. They might not look like they're working together, but they definitely are. And I was like, I felt like I was the only one who was like, they're working together, you ding dongs.
Yeah.
We never saw them together.
Yeah.
They did such a good job of never being seen together. They didn't sleep near each other. They didn't talk to one another in front of us. But I'm like, you guys, like, I know that Simon and Mark go to the same gym. So I'm like, this is cheating. Like, well, I'm just like, this is that. Like, I was frustrated. I was really frustrated. But then also, like, as a fan, I was like, man, this is so cool. You've met Harry and spent time with Harry in real life, right?
No, I haven't. But I did do the online game that Simon organized right before. It was Podcasters versus Players, and Harry got me out. So when I saw him on the game, I was like, I want someone to take him out. Yeah, no, but it was so cool chatting with Harry, like with like Simon. There was like Eden, Eileen. It's like, I've chatted with these people before. Like they're so comfortable talking with fans. It's great. But someone like Harry, like I was in high school when he first played. I'm only 24, and so actually like finally being on like a screen like this, just talking to him, I was like, shit, like pinch me, like it was so cool, and he just seems like the most greatest guy ever as well.
They are, like, they really, really are, and I mean, Harry would be so embarrassed if he hears this. But I did tell him, and like it is the truth of my experience, so I get to say it, okay? Because we're talking about the truth. What really surprised me about Harry is like he is so beautiful in real life.
Okay.
And I was really taken aback with like, I would just be like watching him across the fire being like, oh my God, you are so beautiful. Like we don't like get to see that part of him of like, you know, he's like Dirty Harry. He's like, he's doing his little cheeky things. But when he's I got to watch him for hours in firelight, just dangling across his perfect cheekbones. Yeah. And like, I was like, and he has such a like, he's always got this stony face, right? He's always like, for hours and hours and hours. But then when you make him laugh, he's got the most like gorgeous, like Julia Roberts. I just kept thinking like, oh my God, he's got a smile like Julia Roberts. And it just sort of like, made me realize like, oh my God, no wonder you're going to do whatever this guy tells you to do. Like, I feel like he's not celebrated in the way that like a lot of like the pretty people he's really celebrated for being like strategic and being cunning, but I also think that he needs to land in like the hunk pretty boy, like pretty person. Like if you tell him to do something because he's so pretty, like you'll be like, okay, even if it's not in your like interest. And that's something as a fan, like it actually doesn't come across in a like in a flat plane. This talking about television. Like the television, it actually doesn't come across in a flat plane, but like when you're with him, he is such a beautiful man. And like it kind of makes you kind of want to do whatever he wants. Like, and like that's horrible, you know, because you just want to get him out. Yeah. But but yeah, so that's something that I guess surprised me about Harry is being like, wow, you're so handsome. And he would be he would be so embarrassed if he found out that anyone thought he was handsome, but I think he's handsome. Okay.
Well, it's actually a funny story I have about Harry. So
tell me.
So basically, I was in a room with him. It was him and Ryan V. Brink, and at this point, there was 5 players, 3 podcasters, and and Shannon Gus was the other podcaster, and I believe she had immunity. And I said, all right, Harry, what's the plan? What are we doing for the vote? And he says, well, I'm taking out a podcaster. And he says this in front of Ryan and I, who are the only other two people like this room, and we're the only podcasters that we voted for. I was like, oh, well, who are you going for, Harry? He's like, well, you, Mucky. And, and I was just like, shit, what do I do? It was so funny. So funny. But yeah, you're right. There's just something about Harry that really, even though I've never met him in person, just him socially, like I was just so drawn to him, like wanted to listen to him, wanted to hear what he had to say and stuff.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
What the fuck, man? Like this dietitian from Perth suddenly has if he ran for PM, he would get it for sure. But he
I would
also
move to Perth just to vote for him to be PM.
Well, save me a seat, Mucky, because I'll be right there. But like he also spoke. What I learned from him, I guess one of the most important things I learned from him was this gratitude piece. He's so passionate about Survivor, and also he really just kept my spirits up about gratitude. He would always just really remind me, like, you're living someone's dream. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm living my dream, duh. And he's like, no, like there are so many people out there that you will meet that would do a lot to be in your position. And he just always was just trying to remind us, like when things were really hard or we were bitching and moaning, like just take perspective of where we are. Like this could feel like your worst day, but someone else would have really done a lot to be there. And like I think that as much as I was like, yes, Harry, like I think that is like such a testament to who he is, and like he just wants the show to keep going. And I think that he loves the fans and will be there to support them. But gratitude is such an important thing to have, like in a game like Survivor, but also just as a human being. And I think that I really didn't realize that I would get that lesson off Dirty Harry, but
yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened, right?
Yeah. So I think like, I guess my lessons from Simon was like really learning about the game. He did really take care of me. Like there was so many moments where like no one else, like he's the kind of guy that would tell you that you have spinach in your teeth when no one else told you. Like, and that has nothing to do with the game. I sound like such a fucking suck up, hey, but like I've already played, so I'm not sucking up. But like I do really like, I mean, it's nice to meet people that you admire as a fan point of view, and then get to know them as people, and they are better than the fan version that you had of them. But I've taken that. I think that that's the same with like every Survivor player, to be fair.
Well, I mean, there's that famous saying, right? Which like never meet your heroes because they'll never like live up to expectation. But yeah, it's like there's so many people, so many Survivor players who you're like, oh, they're way too famous, too big for their boots kind of thing. Yeah, but when you actually meet them, like for me personally, it was Valeria from Touches vs Rebels. My thoughts on her right from the show was, well, she's like stone cold, you know, like if you were to first start chatting with her, you'd have to do all the work. So so fun fact for you, I actually went to Australia to watch Australia vs the World. So I live in New Zealand, so I traveled over the ditch just to watch Australia vs the World, go to all the watch parties, meet everyone. It was like a massive thing.
That's awesome.
And Kirby had a private watch party for the David Blindside episode 2. And I was like, okay, so Kirby's there, Eileen's there, Eden's there, Ferris is there. It's like, cool, so great. And the one person that probably chatted to the most was Valeria. I never would have thought that in a million years. You know, she was so loving, so kind. And, you know, like, even as you spoke about before you became a player, you were quite nervous going to watch parties. Like, I was shitting myself going to my first one.
Man, and Valeria, Kirby's secret watch party. Exactly. I would be nervous going to that now.
Yeah, and like Valeria was literally like bringing me into conversations, like bringing me into groups and stuff like that. It's like I never would have thought in a million years that Valeria would be like this amazing angel, pretty much.
Team Mucky.
Exactly. And we'd never spoken prior to this as well. This watch party was the first time I ever spoke to Valeria, and like even on like message as well. And so yeah, I totally get what you mean. It's like you have like this image of some people, whether it's like a good image or like a bad image, but end of the day, everyone is just so great, so nice, so wonderful, and it truly makes everything feel just more special and amazing.
It does. And I mean, like, I think Survivor players are quite unique because, like, Survivor players don't, like, you don't know any celebrity or a person who got their start on Survivor. Like, they usually stay in their like gamer subculture, or they go back to work, being a normal person and going back to their work, as opposed to like maybe like the Love reality TV shows where they can actually really launch that into an entirely new celebrity career. So like, I really love that Survivor is just like, I'm just a normal person and I happen to go play this game and then I go back to my normal life. But with like the Valeria of it all, like, I guess to put on my anthropology hat of like, being on Survivor means that you're probably like a weirdo, that you've probably like had a really weird life if you've been like cast on it and you are interested in playing a game like Survivor. Like, why would you be interested in a game like Survivor? And especially if you've played Survivor, you've probably been brutalized and left out. And like, so I think like you never forget that. And so like I can only imagine in a party like that, she sees someone who is on the outs or is out of the direct social circle. You instantly know what that feels like because you have played Survivor. Like, you know how it feels. So you just want to like, you know, scoop up everyone that like feels like an outsider or feels like a weirdo or feels like they're not good enough, because like we all have felt those feelings as Survivor players and then probably as humans. So I felt like that was like a huge surprise to me as a fan as well. Like, any Survivor player that I spoke to was so happy to speak to me. And I was like, oh, I didn't think you guys would. And like, just when you go through it, you realize like, especially the podcasters are really valuable to players in Australian Survivor in particular, because like not many people watch Australian Survivor. And so like, when we have people that like have also watched it and are super passionate, like, so my conversation that I'm having with you is a really valuable process for me as a player to like speak about it with an expert who's a neutral territory. You didn't backstab me, but you know enough about the game that we can actually chat about it. Like, there's not many like people like you guys for Survivor players. We can't talk to producers, like, you know, we can't talk to our friends and family, and I don't think we can talk directly to like the fan base, because like we don't want to ruin their experience of for them, because like that's very private what their experience of the game was. So
and like for me, the best part about podcasting, right, is not even having a platform to talk about the show. It's not even like you know, getting to connect, because I'm in New Zealand and all my co-hosts are from all over the world, like US, South Africa, like Michelle from like Sydney. I've got someone else in Adelaide as well. It's not even that. It's actually having the opportunity to connect with you guys as well and understand, because I actually have a background in film and television as well. So I love knowing how things work, and Survivor's always been a mystery to me on how does it actually work, you know? And so I always just love chatting with you guys.
What's something that you're still like a bit confused about, or you feel like you haven't gotten clarification of it? And if I feel like I can answer, I definitely will. But I'm pretty probably up to the eyeballs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it. Like, I've like full honesty, I've really enjoyed our conversation. It's an hour 15 in, and we haven't even spoken about like arriving at the beach yet. Like, that's how much I'm really loving this conversation and what we're talking about. No, I think it's great. Like this stuff that I love hearing.
I didn't know that we were talking about. I didn't know that we were actually going to talk about Survivor.
No, but I truly love all this. something for me, and I feel like this is more of I will know once I'm there. Like, I feel like that's the kind of answer I'm probably going to get. But for me, it's like, how does all the strategy work? How do you come to like a consensus like vote? Because I'm the kind of person where it's like, okay, so you're out there on the beach, you're starving, you're miserable, so you're clearly not all there mentally, and you've got all these different plans going around. You've got your real alliances, your fake alliances, but how do you know if your real alliance isn't just the other person like playing you? You've got all these like idols, like all these different game mechanics and whatnot, and you have to like lie, bluff and stuff. And it's like, how do you actually know what the actual vote or plan is going into a tribal council? And I know this is saying you should never be 100% confident going into a tribal council, but I've always been very curious, and I feel like it's a question I only understand once I ever play, but how a vote consensus is actually made going in when there's all these different plans.
I definitely think I can answer. I can give you like a little bit more insight. Prefacing with like I'm in my reality TV star era, so I'm Delulu, but then also being aware that like I don't like Richard had the most tribal council experience of the season.
Yeah.
But I still know the information that he would probably tell you. So I think that the things that maybe I didn't anticipate as a fan going in terms of like the votes is that Scramble, we call it Scramble for no, obviously, you know, but like for the viewership, that portion of the game is called Scramble, where you have come back from the challenge and you are all talking in the forest and deciding who to vote out. That amount of time is, and we obviously don't know what the time is in the game. So it's probably, I would say, less than an hour. It is the shortest amount of time that we have to do anything. Challenges take 4 hours. Tribal council takes 4 hours. But the scramble is the most reduced amount of time that we have to do a certain element of the game.
Yeah.
But like Survivor is a 24-hour game. So seeing it on TV, like you'll see it at an hour and a half, but we have 24 hours to gather this information or not that information. There's a lot of thinking time and downtime. We are with each other constantly. So that's also an element of like, how do you know what's going to happen? You're not getting a dossier of information at Scramble. You have been drip fed information throughout the days. And say if like, you know, the other tribe loses, that's days. That could be days before you go to tribal. So there's obviously things that shift in a lot of information that you get. I think also something that isn't like that I didn't understand until I was out there is that like the trick of the camera makes you believe that we are all a lot more snuck into the forest and the density of the playing field that we are. Sorry. I'm just trying to say that the camera angles suggest that we are a lot further apart from each other than we actually are.
Yeah.
So a lot of the conversations, you probably realistically have a playing ground of about 2 basketball courts max. And so me and you wanted to vote out Tez, for example.
Easy. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. no questions asked. Let's get him out.
I'd backstab you. I'd be like, no, Tez is my boy. I would be like, you and me, let's go. And this is what it would be like. imagine your Tez. This is probably better.
Okay.
Imagine your Tez, you're sitting in the shelter, and I'd be like, psst, psst, let's go talk. And then the camera would follow us, and then we might go like here and be like,
okay.
Let's get Tez. And so like you're sitting like right there,
Yeah.
Like, and like we're most certainly talking about you. Like, and like you're just sitting there going like, yep, well, I'm on the bottom. Like, and it's like, you can from our shelter, you can see a majority of the conversations that are happening and not happening. I was like a very nighttime active player, obviously, because I pulled Lyndall for a conversation and she got angry that I woke her up. But like, I remember when Harry was telling me like, oh, when your name got thrown out, like to be the vote, I knew you were an active night player and I was an active night player. So like that was convenient for me. And so you can see every conversation, and when you can't see the conversations, that's even worse. When you'd be like, wait, I saw Eliza and her hand puppet leave and now I don't know where they are. That's so you need to be careful as a player if you actually want to really, really, really go deep into the forest, because it alerts everyone else to like, you've actually got something that you're either hiding something or you don't want to have a conversation in front of us, like out of earshot, but in front of us. So a lot of the players would choose to have strategy conversations in eye shot, but out of earshot, because they wanted to present a thing of like, I'm not talking about anything. I'm just talking about the rain. I'm just talking about the rice. But obviously, like, you can tell that they're not talking about rain or rice. They're talking about voting Eliza out. So I think that also, I hope those pieces of information give you like an insight into like how to actually people know what's going on. Like, it's because they're having those same conversations in front of you, but it's like a trick of the camera to try and make it seem like we're really, really far apart, but like we're actually not far apart from each other at all. And I personally, just taking responsibility for my game, I really struggled with that. I found that to be quite a shock, and I found that to be like something that I found it really hard to get over. I found it really hard to get over the fact that I'd have to talk about somebody in front of them, whether they could hear me or not. Like, I found that quite like unsettling. And that also that like Harry and Simon was so frustratingly good, because they created a culture in the early game where they were allowed to pick people and take them on little walks and go chat to them. But if anyone else did it, they would instantly be like, oh, look, there's Lottie taking Asha for a chat. Are you guys going to allow that? Are you guys going to allow them to chat like that? And we all had to have like a chat about being like, it's okay to play Survivor. Are we allowed to play Survivor? Because like someone other than the returnees has got to be able to stand up and call another newbie away. But like the returnees had that on lock, that they were like, no, you're not allowed to go up and have conversations with people in front of me, because I will stand there. Like Harry used to do, like, whenever I would try and talk to Jackson, Harry would just come up and like as protest, just stand there.
Yeah.
And so it put us in the position where we had to be like, hey, Harry, do you mind giving us a second? But we were the Kumbaya tribe. We weren't trying to show any factions at that point. So that was like the social contract that, to their credit, they did a really good job of managing. And I found that to be very frustrating. Does that give you more like insight about the scramble?
It does, yeah, because I'm definitely starting to like imagine it. So you got like the shelter, because like I can definitely see it now. A lot of
wait, I can actually. This is on Instagram, so I think it's actually probably okay that I share you. But there was a there's a Survivor camera person or a cinematographer who put on a huge wide shot time lapse of scramble of all the camera people of all on their Instagram. And that gives you like the best sense of like what a scramble actually looks like. It can be done in one GoPro shot, like of an area.
Oh, wow.
It's not like, it's much more like a theater play rather than Lost, the television show. It's like there's a stage about the size of 2 basketball courts that we're allowed to stand on. But I'll send it to you. And it's like public, so obviously we can do that. So that's probably why I think that how people know where the votes are. I knew where the votes were. Well, I didn't know where the votes were. I knew the voting.
I knew I was getting blindsided.
Yeah. Look at me going like, I know. But I did understand where everyone was in the tribe from that tried and true advice that Boston Rob gave of like, just look where people sleep. That's actually so true. Like animals, and including like, we find it really difficult to fall asleep next to animals that we don't trust. And that you could just see exactly if you're coming on Survivor next year, in a few months, look where people sleep. I could see the order of the tribe, exact boom, 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 like a pecking order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's like was my best way of understanding where I was and where Lyndall was and where Jackson was. I was sleeping in the middle. I already knew to look out for this sleep order. So like day one, I like chucked my bags right in the middle of the shelter. I was like, I'm the swing vote in the early game. Little did I know the swing vote was like a guillotine for my head. But does that give you more like insight to like scramble?
It definitely does, because I'm picturing it in my head. Right, because like I've been like a director on like projects and stuff as well. So when it comes to placing camera angles, like I'm visualizing it. It's like, okay, so you would want like sort of like a camera down at the beach near the shelter and whatnot. And like now that I'm visualizing it, I can see the sort of like stretch where most chats are often played. And you're right. It would be like the length and like the width of like a basketball court as well. So. As you're talking, I was like visualizing it. It's like, I can see how then that's so easy to cut and put together and whatnot as well. And it's just.
And there's not that many cameras. I think there's 3 cameras at a scramble. There's like 2 cameras at other times, and there's 1 camera at another time. And we had different game rules depending on how many cameras were on the beach with us to keep the integrity of the game. But that doesn't mean that you can't know where people are. Like, for instance, we are sitting down in an area probably for about an hour and a half to 2 hours before the challenge. And we are allowed to sit wherever we want to sit. Like, there is so much information. We're not allowed to speak. We're not allowed to do anything. But we are allowed to sit wherever we want. And that gives you most of the information that you need. Like, where people sit, it is like high school. Who's with who in what high school group? Like, where do people want to sit at lunch? Like, it's not as like miraculous or bamboozling as that hour and a half television show. You're with these people for 24 hours. Like, you know who people's besties are. But that's why I guess I found it so fun that like Richard, for instance, didn't even know that I was playing with Jackson. Like, and to a lot of that tribe, my relationship with Jackson wasn't that understood until Jackson waged war for like the next 3 or 4 votes to get revenge upon himself and me. And like, I think that
Yeah.
that is like a testament to my gameplay and Jackson's gameplay that like, well, not Jackson's gameplay because he told everyone that I was with him, but I was like hoping to keep him a little bit secret for a little bit of a time.
Yeah.
But why? Because I was voted out. Like, I mean, I understand I got voted out third, but also like there are like methods in the madness. And I was playing a kind of game where if I won, you would have thought I was a genius. But
Yeah.
I didn't. Like, and I feel like that's like a lot of, I just wanted to take inspiration from those players where like you have to pick a bold strategy and go for it. And like it will most likely get you voted out. But if you do get all the way, that strategy will be the reason why you win at the end of the day. Like I wanted to go in with a game plan and a strategy from day one, and it didn't work out for me. But I certainly didn't want to be a player right at the end at jury going like, oh, what was my game? I don't even know how to play Survivor. Like,
Well, it's like, in my opinion, it's always way better to go out trying, to go out swinging, to go out playing, hard than it is to go out and not having played at all. Because then you leave with so many like regrets, like, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. But if you went out trying to play hard, then it's like I did what I could do.
Do you know what?
Is that how you felt?
I have heard that. I do hear that a lot. I do hear that a lot. And that seems to be like the cultural like slogan. But I'm mates with a lot of players who didn't play. And I'm mates with a lot of players who play really hard. And everyone has regrets. Like everyone, like, and they say the big players who I'm like mostly friends with all go, well, I'm glad I wasn't just a goat and I'm glad that I did it. But like, I think that's what the big players just say to help heal their own heart. Because that, like, I think that you will always have regrets in a game. Like Survivor, going back to like, I guess my opening statement in this deep dive is like, Survivor is a spiritual experience to me. And like, you do not get the lesson you want. You get the lesson you need, no matter if you're a small player or a big player. I think that every single person, I don't know one Survivor player who doesn't have regrets. I don't know one Survivor player who, even the winners, and like, I think that that is the like humanity and the beauty about the game is like, I try to ask myself, like, would I rather lose fast or lose last? I lost fast, like, but I didn't lose last. I was like, bang, get out of there. I was able to like live my life. I was able to process. Like, I wasn't out there starving for no good reason. Like, so it's sort of like, I was able to recover a lot quicker. I was able to learn my lessons really quick. But like, I don't know. The more that I hear this, like, oh, well, I'd rather be a big player, it makes me feel like even the big players have demons, like, about their game. And like, a lot of the big players go like, wow, if only I didn't react so emotionally, or if only I just thought about it. But like, these are like superstars of the game. But like, everyone has that like reflection, no matter where you land. And like, if you're coming on Survivor, you have to accept that your heart is going to get broken. Your heart could get broken because like you come out early and you quit work 4 months prior to like, I just had so many tags on myself. Like, I think I'm a great Survivor player no matter what, but like, I didn't get to show anything. Or you could have your heart broken like Paula or Tez, who got like purpled. Like, and they played amazing games. Like, so it's like, you don't know, like, you actually don't know, but your heart will get broken. Like, for sure, guaranteed you're going to feel heartbroken. And that's why I guess like we all get along so well, is because like we have all, or you could be like Cameron, who was not annoying. He was an absolute delight, like, but got the annoying edit and like has gotten a lot of hate online. Like like, yeah, I know. And I'm just like, he played so well. He did
Yeah.
so much better than me. But like, I have not received the hate that he's like. It just is like, wow, like you can really smash your heart in a million pieces in this game. And so like, I have my heartbreak, but like everyone does.
Yeah. I think as well, like, I think it also comes down to like the mindset you have about things as well. So I've been the kind of person who's like, have no regrets or no regrets, you know, amazing callback. But like, it's a very toxic mindset I have, and I'm very well aware of that. But a genuine
Why do you think
mindset
it's
I have.
toxic?
I'll explain why. My personal thing is, so I say anxiety doesn't exist, right? Because my motto is that if I'm really scared about something, you know, you've got nothing to fear but fear itself. So if I'm really nervous about something or like, you know, scared for something, it means that it's important to me. And I must do it. So I must overcome it. So I force myself to do it. So for example, after we met in Sydney, I went to the Gold Coast the next day, right? And I went to Movie World. And when I was about to do the Superman ride just before, I was lucky shitting myself because it goes from 0 to like 100 Ks in just like 2 seconds. But I loved it so much. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to force myself to do it again. But this time, I'm not going to like close my eyes at the start. Because that's what like he did. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. When it takes off. And the second time I did it, I had my eyes open. And I was right next to, like, I don't even know how to describe him. He was like a crazy bogan. He was so funny. And like we had the best time in line together. And I enjoyed it so much more on the second time than I did on the first time. And I had my eyes open because I was like, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. And that's always been my sort of mindset to life. So when I say, oh, I'd rather play a big game. So even if I like stuff up, and you know, if I'm like out first boot, it's like a common joke on the podcast that I'll be the greatest first boot of all time. Or like second, third, it doesn't matter what placement I come. I know I'd be happy with myself because I know that with my sort of, I guess who I am, there's nothing else. I mean, you can always look back at, you know, ifs, buts, wins and stuff like that. But I always like to look at things just like I did everything I could in the moment and I'm happy. If that makes sense.
Really, no, that actually makes so much sense. And I actually think that that is actually such a good analogy for Survivor is like, I think in that to blend to your analogy, I rode the roller coaster like this. Like I was like, no.
Yeah.
But like I think if you go into Survivor, you have to ride the roller coaster like this.
Exactly.
Like you have to just like take your hands off this proverbial wheel and like to ride that the scariest part of the roller coaster with your eyes open.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's like, yeah, that's actually like, but by the way, to bring in another analogy, you only knew that it would be worthwhile to open your eyes the second time.
True. Yeah, so absolutely right.
To have compassion for yourself, you needed to come away from that roller coaster with regrets in order to adapt and to go, I want to do it again, but with my hands up in the air and my eyes open and just going like, woo, like, and it's like, that is also valid, you know, like you regret is like a really important teacher so that you know that you have to open your eyes the next time. But like but what animal would willingly do that? Like, it's like actually not like, it's so understandable that you wouldn't want to ride the 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. You would be psycho. You would be psycho if you were like, I've never done that roller coaster before and I did it with my eyes open the whole time. You'd be like, okay. You'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can say it would have been physically impossible for me to ride the roller coaster with my arms up because I was I kid you not, this tall. I was that far away from being too tall to go on the ride. Like you've met me.
Really?
I'm pretty. I'm
Yeah,
6'5".
you are a tall guy.
Yeah, yeah. I was. I kid you not. Like the guy.
Good in the pre-game. I mean, not pre-game, a pre-merge
Brilliant.
in Survivor.
Yeah.
You would be
So
so
like
good.
across all my jobs, my height has always been the greatest tool to keep me around. Like, hey, you don't want to sack me. I can reach all the high spots for you.
I bet mothers love you. I bet mothers are
really
like,
do.
oh, Michael, can you come reach this thing? I bet
Well,
you'd be
except for
able
my
to
grandma.
reach this. I bet you'd be able to reach this sculpture on top of my wardrobe that I can't reach.
Yeah, I'll fly over right now. It's only a 3.5 hour flight. Easy. I just
I'll be waiting.
My grandma actually says it's because she used to, to kick me up the ass every time I was like a naughty boy growing up, and that's why I'm so tall, because you just but yeah.
And then I had to stand on a footstool to do it, and I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I guess let's actually start talking about what happened in the game. Only an hour 42 minutes in, we're finally getting into it. But can say I'm having such a blast chatting with you, Eliza. Like right now, this is my favorite deep dive I've ever done. I just wanted to let you know that. It honestly is. No, it honestly is. My original favorite was with Eileen during Titans vs. Rebels because that was such an amazing thing. I'll tell you all about it after the podcast.
She is a lot of Survivor players' favorite player. Like,
yeah,
she's like, those session musos that that rock stars go like, oh, have you ever heard of this person? Like, she didn't really make she's not like a Simon Me in terms of like a recognizable Australian figure, but like she is Survivor players' favorite player. And she's, man, did you learn lots? Yeah. You must have learned lots from the game from her. She taught me a lot.
It's funny because I think we would approach the game two completely different ways, but I did play a game of Catan with her. It was so funny. Her favorite ever board game. It was my first time hearing about it, first time playing it, and I won. It was so funny. But I won by getting one of her friends to screw her over and help me instead.
How did she would not like that? I don't think.
No, I think she was sort of like, oh, Mucky, I'm happy for you because you're over from New Zealand, and I'm never going to have to see you for a long time again. So, but I think the distance has really helped us at the moment. But she's so lovely, so kind though, honestly, and even just as a person, because something I like to do is I like to get to know the people. And you might not remember this because both of us had probably a wee bit too much to drink at Rich's watch party.
We were overserved. Yeah. The waiters there should be thrown in jail.
Straight up, yeah.
Not our fault.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the things I love so much about you was just how raw and open you were about your experience and stuff, and just getting to know you as a person and whatnot. And to me, that may maybe be like, wow, I left that watch party being like, I think Eliza is fucking awesome. But we didn't have too much. We had some small chats before that watch party, but really getting to meet you, know you, and stuff like that. It really it's like, oh, I think Eliza's great. Yeah.
Thank you. I think to be honest, I think I've learned that lesson through working in television, where it's you have to be yourself on camera and off camera. And that if you're going to go onto a game like Survivor, you're either giving all of yourself or not at all. And I think I try to carry that responsibility because like it is firstly manipulative because I'm aware that it actually makes me very likable, but also that like it actually, I really, especially when it comes to Survivor, want to give as much of like the truth as possible because like I know that it can positively affect like the community and future players. Like that there's nothing else on earth like this game, and there's only a certain amount of people who are allowed to experience the experience. And like, but also I genuinely like, especially when it comes to like I don't know how you would describe yourselves, but like you're a reporter, you're a journalist, you're like an analysis, you do analysis on the game, and your Survivor is your beat, right? So I think of you guys in the same way that you would like see like a reporter whose beat is like Silicon Valley or New York, or like it's my responsibility to be as honest as I can with you guys because like you reflect that back into the community. But I also have ADHD, so I actually can't have the capacity to like be many people at the same time. And like you're such a beautiful, like I think I trust you because you're a very trusted community member by other players. So it's like I know that you would have heard all of the stories, like, and that you have spoken to many, many people that have been through this. Like you're in a unique position to understand me, like that my family are. Like, you know, like I don't think like maybe people understand, like not many people understand us as Survivor players, and like your community or like the certain groups of podcasters are in a unique position to understand us. Like, I think, but also you're a fucking legend. You're a
not as much of a legend as you are.
We got to get to this game. Like, how boring.
We do. How boring is our last two?
No, you're awesome. No, you're awesome.
No, you're awesome. No, you're awesome. That's going to be like the longest deep dive ever. It's just been like 10 hours of just talking about live ideas.
My Survivor alumni is going to be like, fuck, she's such a suck up. Like, damn. Like, But honestly, it's like it was a dream come true to go on Survivor. So I'm like just trying to rinse as much dirty water out of the sponge as I can. Let's go. Game.
Let's go.
Game. Day one.
Right into day one. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, just before we do, we kind of teased about it almost 2 hours ago. So it's the opening challenge, and there is a hero role. Where Linda runs out and grabs the torch. Obviously, being a fan, you know that there's probably something else sort of going on there. Were you thinking, I want to be in that hero role? Or what was your sort of thought process about all that?
No way. No way. This is, I guess, my strategy, which worked a charm. I wanted to vote it out third, guys, and I did it.
One of my favorite quotes by one of my favorite Survivor players ever is from Rogue in Heroes vs. Villains, where she said, I orchestrated my own blindside. It's like, that is a fucking queen.
But you know what? We kind of do. Like, I did kind of orchestrate my own blindside. I didn't know I was doing it, but I did it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, Rogue will be quoted till, I think, you know, I think she's fucking, man, the things that she said. I wish we had a rogue. Like, why didn't we have a rogue on my beach? Like,
your tribe was actually like too nice and too lovely.
Like, we voted out the pastor first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, was he really our first boot? Yeah. On Bounty Tribe, he was like, and like that's like just goes to show. But so no, I was never ever going to stick my head out. I was never going to volunteer myself for those opportunities, especially in the early game of Survivor. I'm talking about Eliza, who played. This is my thought process going into it. Like, I think I probably would play differently going into second time, but I'm trying to be authentic to who I was going in. So yeah, like, no way. I wasn't going to draw attention to myself at all. I was not being the hero. I was not being the anything. I wanted to be open and available to play with everyone. I wanted to be everyone's like friend. I did not want to draw a line in the sand. And my main goals coming out into the beach was to create 1 or 2 ride or dies, like players that had that emotional, like, lock in. The way that you speak about me, about like, oh my God, we spoke, and like, I think you're awesome. Like, that was sort of the what I was looking for when I was out there. Those are my goals in the first stages of those games. When it comes to those early challenges, like, and especially with idols, like, I don't care who has the idol. I just want to know where it is. And so if Lyndall was the one who wanted to do that, that's great. I know that there's an idol there. And like, I told her on the mat, I was like, go, there's going to be an idol behind the thingy. And I guess that's also why I guess I had a lot of work to do when in the subsequent days she wasn't letting me in on it, even when I told her there's going to be an idol there, go get it, let's play. And this is like just a quick, like, when they're like, survivors ready, you're like, hey, there's an idol, go get it. Like, it's not like a big combo, it's like a passing moment. And I knew that, like, I had work to do when she wasn't letting me in on the game. But also, like, so that was there. And also because I have like a producer, writer brain, and I know how like an Australian television show day works. It's all kind of controlled by the sun and sunlight. And so when we came home after that big challenge, the Survivor gods were really interested in talking to certain people when I believed there wouldn't be any benefit in talking to them at that time of day with the sunlight, unless something important had occurred that they needed to get receipts on straight away. And one of those people were Lyndall. That like Lyndall was taken like straight away and was like, you need to come and talk to us to give your version of what happened. So obviously as a player, not obviously, I was watching in the background going, okay, that has occurred. Like, I obviously know that there's an idol there, but like, because certain players were being pulled for interviews at certain times, like I'd worked out that like, I hadn't worked out. It was my belief that happened to be true, but like that was like, you know, there was many beliefs that I had, many like beliefs that I had that worked out not to be true, but that belief was true. So that was the first day, the first challenge, and we became the bounty tribe because we just happened to win that first challenge, which was so amazing. We got papaya, pumpkin, we got this shelter, we got firewood, like it was and a hammock, like we got a really good start to the game. And it was like, I remember saying like to myself, like, thank God, just like thank God, like winning one challenge can suddenly mean such a big effect for your game. And like, oh my God, those poor Baron, those like they didn't eat. They genuinely didn't eat. Like we thought that they were taking the piss a bit, but like they genuinely didn't have anything.
So and what was your early like sort of relationships looking like on like the very first day? Like who are you vibing with? Who you like wanted to really work with? Who were you like trying to like stay away from?
I wanted to work with Paula. I wanted to work with Paula, Richard. I wanted to work with Loz, and Harry. I was really, I guess, scared of the way that Asha and Cameron and Lottie were playing on day one, which was like antithesis and it was opposite to what my survivor training had taught me, which was like, you don't want to come out day one and like suddenly, like Cameron was running around on day one on first scramble being like, I want a big boy, I want to get a big player, I want to get a big boy. And he was saying it to Harry and Simon, and I was like, who are you talking about? Like you're like, this doesn't seem like the training that I had that like you should be doing this. So I was really, and I am really good mates with Asha now, but like our first conversation, she didn't even know my name. She didn't know my star sign. She didn't know like these important points and was like, who do you want? She was like, tell me a name. No, I'm not saying a name. You tell me a name. And I was like, I don't like to play like this. Like, you need to get to know me. We need to build a relationship. I am not going to fall. Like, I was just like, I'm not falling for that trick of like putting out a name so you can use it. Like, but I don't think now in retrospect, I don't think that she was trying to bully me or bait me. I think she was just playing the game at that pace. Like, I think that in retrospect, if I had just said a name, she would have been like, ooh, interesting. Okay, let's play. But like having that energy, I thought it was like huge red flag. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you need to get to know me. Let's actually have a conversation first. Like, you don't like, this isn't like ordering at Yum Cha. You know, like she was like, what do you want? What do you want? Like, and I guess that rubbed my gamer the wrong way, because I wanted to play a little bit more of a subtle game that really came to fruition in the later stages. I cannot stress enough how like you shouldn't do that going in, because like you need to make it to the end stages to be able to show your end stages game. Like, you need to make it there. You need to get there first. So like, don't think so far ahead, like that you can't get there. But so those were the connections off the game don't necessarily mean connections on the game. Like, Asha gave me like the best shoulder massages of my entire life, and she was like looking at me. Oh my gosh, she's got fingers that can like, and like I really appreciated that like comfort. But like playing the game, she was just she was like hot oil in a pan, and I was that cold coconut oil left at the bottom of the jar. Like, I was not anywhere near her temperature, and like I wasn't going to get there. And like now looking back, I'm like, should I have just been a little bit more receptive and a bit more adaptable? But I just really wanted to play a game that showed the 3 different stages of the game, which is like, you know, obviously pre. I feel so silly saying this shit because
that's great.
You want to be I did have this all planned out, but like I do also want to take responsibility for like I did play into that absolutely tragic thing that happens to a lot of fans where they overthink it, they're too rigid, and they get voted out. Like it's so sad because it's like it's such a beautiful poetic metaphor for like, you can't hold the little bird too tight because you'll squish it, and you can't hold it too lightly because it will fly away. Like, you have to have that perfect amount of like, I will work with you as you work with me, and I will just flow. But I like squish that bird so tight because I had so many constrained ideas about like the perfect pre-game, the perfect merge, and like I still think those ideas are true, but they're just ideas. They don't actually work when you're playing like a game like Survivor. So those are the relationships that I was wary of, and those are the relationships that I kind of wanted to work with, like Paula, Richard, Loz, Jackson, obviously, Simon, I really wanted to work with. And Lottie I'd work with if she like took me, if she wanted
Yeah.
me.
Just really quick, with your work in the film and television industry, are you more of a producer, a director? Like, what's like your main line of work?
Now I'm like a scripted television writer, but I've worked
Yeah.
in like, I've been a director before. I have worked in reality TV before. I went to theater school, so I started my whole journey as an actor. But I work right now as like a writer, as a TV writer, and I work on other people's television shows and I work on my own stuff as well.
Yeah, because during my time of like working in the film and television industry here in New Zealand, when I'm like a producer, like creating, like producing stuff like that, I need someone to cramp my ideas down. Right. So I've got a series of friends. I've got some projects which I've written, but like I'd never make to like get, a high enough budget to make it. But they have like helped me scramble all my different ideas into like an easy flat storyline. It's like, yep,
Oh yeah,
that makes sense. That works. Let's go. And I'm kind of maybe getting the feeling like with, how with you're playing Survivor, I feel like you needed that person to sort of help you with all your ideas in terms of how to execute the perfect pre-merge game, post-merge game and stuff. Because, like as you said, like the ideas.
I actually think I needed you. I actually think I needed you.
I'm going first, so it doesn't matter. So
I think well, if Harry's there, you're going. But if Harry's there,
as long as I'm not there with Harry.
I'm going too if Harry's there too. But like, I think I actually was far too constrained. Like, I actually think I needed I needed the openness and the flexibility to understand where the tribe was. So I was coming in to a very typical merge tribe where there's going to be some Looney Tunes, there's going to be some people that blow up their own games, and as long as you are like strong, you contribute, you don't say anything stupid, and like you make friends, it's going to be hard for you to get out, like because you have some Looney Tunes. When I arrived on Bounty Beach and like realizing like there wasn't any Looney Tunes, like that was really scary. And me and Harry spoke about that on the island a lot, about being like, there really isn't a bottom. And hence why he said at the beginning of my exit episode, like, I'm going to have to manufacture a bottom. Like, and he did that by being like, Richard, Lyndall, Eliza, like he was just he was doing his good gameplay of manufacturing a bottom because he didn't want to be the bottom. Like, it was one of those like really unlucky, and like I have been like really validated by so many of my other Survivor players being like, you did nothing wrong, like you didn't do anything wrong. But I'm like, yeah, but I didn't do anything right, like what is the how can I have, I think that I had my ideas about how that part of the game should work was only conditional to a more typical tribe. Whereas like this tribe, its strongest players like Asha and Lottie started to play from the afternoon of day one and like was really aggressive, incredibly out loud. Like Lottie was like, Harry, you're out, like on day one, and like that stuck to it. And it really like, I think it choked Harry and Paula and me, but I think for different reasons. Like we weren't tight, but like I think that quality really like stifled our pace because they dictated the pace. We didn't dictate the pace. They were playing like an American style game, like, and it was like I found that really hard to like get with the program because I didn't want them defining who I was. Like, I'm egotistical and I'm power hungry. So I obviously don't want like Asha and Lottie being like, we're going to vote this way and you're in. And I'm like, day one, like, ask me what my name is, like first.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, But obviously that's something that I would adapt to a lot. If like I went on again, I would just be like, if we're playing really hard day one, let's go. Like, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of someone who was making a lot of active mistakes at the start, is poor Daniel. You know, he's going around, he's saying the wrong names to the wrong people, he's mistaking people for other people. Was that truly the only reason why he was voted out, or were there any other reasons that sort of led towards his downfall?
Yeah, look, I mean, the reason that I kind of heard in the scramble was that that I was included in on, that there was a conversation with like me, Harry, Lyndall, because obviously I wasn't going to leave Lyndall alone, because in my idea, like, she's got an idol. And at that point I was like, she's sharing it with Harry. Like, Lyndall and Harry are locked in. Like, that turned out to be so untrue. But like, that was, I thought that Lyndall and Harry were like really close in that first day. So yeah, there's a scene I think in the show where we're around the well, and it was purely because Daniel ran up to us too quickly. And that was genuinely like, everyone was like, wow, did you see that he like ran quickly? And then everyone was like, yeah, he did, didn't he? Like, it's sort of like this propaganda machine that I felt happened to me, that like, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Like, there will be a reason, and the tribe will suddenly go like, yeah, did you see the way he breathed? Yeah, I did. Wasn't that so like, yeah, like it was like, it's like this fury of propaganda that suddenly, so for me, the reason that like I heard like, oh my God, and he said Jackson's name in front of Jackson, but that was like a more of like a, oh wow, like what sloppy gameplay. But like the initial reason, I believe, is because he ran too fast to the well behind us. Like, that is how small it needed to be for you to get clocked. And I think that that's also demonstrated by my vote out, which is like, she kept me awake. Like, it was like one of those like tribes where it's like, there wasn't an obvious bottom, so we needed to manufacture one.
Yeah. Honestly, poor Daniel. Poor Daniel. It's like, if it was saying the wrong names and stuff, it's like, yeah, I can understand that. I can get behind that. But just because he ran just a tad too fast, it's like, what a crap way to go. Like, honestly, that's
I know, but also wait. That had been like some time between that immunity challenge and when we first started. Like, it had been like 72 hours. Had it? Maybe 48 hours.
I think it was day 2 that you guys went to tribal council.
Like, it had been some time. So it wasn't just that thing of like, oh my God, he's been here for half an hour. It's been like, everyone knew everyone's name, like it, and when you sleep over at someone's, like, if you have a one night stand, you better remember someone's name. If you've slept with them for 2 nights in a row, like, you better remember someone's name. Like, you're sleeping next to this person, like, you're eating next to them, you're shoulder to shoulder with them, you're doing challenges with them. Like, it is kind of a thing of like, not necessarily that it's totally out of this earth that you'd forget someone's name, but it's just more about a thing of like, it was like a reflection of this player's capacity to keep up with the pace. And it was just more like, okay, like, but again, the survivor player in me goes, don't you want to keep that kid around? Like, don't you want to keep him around? Like, he's awesome and like innocent and forgets details. Like, that's a player I want to work with. Like, and he has a higher power. that like morally
exactly.
you could manipulate in the game. Like
Yeah,
he's such a great player to play with. But
yeah.
yeah, I think that's a testament to like who wasn't on our tribe. Like he did nothing
Mm.
wrong. Daniel did nothing wrong.
And we've got to talk about it. This moment between you and Jackson, where
Yeah.
you're talking about how amazing he is. You know, like he's handsome, he's great, he's everything. And you recite a poem. Do you remember word for word what your poem was?
I remember saying like my favorite line was like something I said about being like we may it's like we maybe have a large
Yeah.
age gap, but like isn't it nice to have an older friend? Or like I said, oh yeah, here we go. Jackson,
Yeah.
your hair is the color of sand. I want you to be my survivor man. Then we can go to the end. Maybe after the game we can be best friends. I can't remember. But like me and like, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, what was it about Jackson that drew him to like having like wanting him to be like your best friend or like a closest ally? Like, what was it about Jackson specifically?
Okay, so there was, I guess, like a couple of things I noticed through the first couple of days. So we made our alliance on day 4 and I was gone by day 7. And like I
Yeah.
really give myself a lot of credit for being able to turn a player onto me that quickly, and that
Yeah.
my alliance with them affected them for essentially the rest of the game. And
Mhm.
like that was still asked about it at reunion, like, and
Yeah.
it essentially was a less than 72-hour connection. Like I don't know Jackson like that well at
Mm.
all after the game, but like in the game, he, to me and my big 35-year-old brain, I was like, okay,
Mhm.
here's a young guy who is so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He had that real
Yeah.
spark. He had that real positivity, which is like really important in a game like that. But also made me be like, huh, you've never been heartbroken. Let's go. Like I know that like I have, as we've spoken
Yeah.
about 2 hours ago. But I was looking for a Kalen archetype from Brain versus Brawn 2. And that was like quite specific, like looking for an archetype like him. Someone who was so strong. This kid, this beautiful kid, was picking me up by the scruff of the neck like I was like a little kitten and throwing me across the challenges. Like he
Yeah.
was so strong. So I obviously knew that he wasn't in any sort of danger of being voted out at that point. And I also knew that another big like ding, ding, ding for me was that he didn't know the game. He had
Yeah.
auditioned for a few reality TV shows and not gotten on, and he had gotten on to Survivor. And I was like,
Okay.
I am so glad you didn't get onto any of those and you got onto the beach with me. So I was able to actually I was like, great. Like you don't have
Yeah.
the biggest strategic chops, but you are the loyal puppy, like,
Mhm.
and super strong. Like that with my archetype of like, I'm the attractive, dorky, but like very strategic girl. Like, I think that we would have been able to complement each other. And also because I was like a Pilates girl, I would have slayed any of those isometric hold challenges, like, or any of
Yeah.
those balance challenges. And I knew that that would have been my like strong suit. And just knowing that he didn't know about the game was actually the most attractive, like, and I'm not trying to say that to discredit him. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to say like that's the reality of where I was coming at like at that point. This guy knows the game now, like, but he had to play it. But like, you can't take away all those hundreds of hours of strategy podcast listening that I listened to. Like, and yeah, so that was so I pulled him aside. It doesn't show it on camera, but I pulled him aside one night and I was like, hey, you are not like where you think you are in this tribe. Harry and Paula and Lyndall are lying to you. I actually know what, like, so poor guy. Like, I'm just like, I'm the one who knows what's going on, and I have your best interest at heart. Those people don't. And he was like instantly like, oh, you're fucking right. Like, I know they've been lying to me, but I don't know what else to do. And I'm like, come with me. Let me teach you about a thing called a swing vote. And he was like, what's a swing vote? And I was like,
you're literally pointing to the dark side.
Yeah, and I remember so distinctly the silhouettes of like the moonlight, because obviously I used my thumbs as like, we're the swing votes and we swing from faction to faction. And I was like, doing all the numbers on my little fingers and using me and Jackson as like, swing, we can swing. And like, I was just
you're like, don't you love the swings? It's the best part of a playground. Don't you want to be a swing with me, Jackson?
But I think that like through that conversation, that the best thing that I did was like convince him that like I made it up. I was just like trying to make it up, but I was like, you are the most important vote of this entire tribe, and nobody knows it but me and you. Of course, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to look so good because I'm actually the most important vote because I'm telling you how to vote. But like, I was like being like, whatever way you want to vote, Jackson, between these two, like Lottie, Cameron, Arsha, Simon, Lyndall, Harry, Paula. Yeah, Lyndall, Harry, Paula, someone else.
Simon.
But I was like, yeah, we're like, we can change where the vote goes. And that was just like so mind blowing to his little brain. Like Harry had done a great job of like broing with him, but no one had taken the time to actually like explain like the game to Jackson. And I think that the fact that I did that made all of the difference. And yeah, like those were the three elements. I think that he was an absolute puppy dog, that he didn't know the game, and that he was so physically capable. Like I was like, you're mine. But I also kind of hoped through the context of us speaking so secretly at night that he would get the hint that like we should keep this secret, like our secret, it's a secret. But he obviously, when my name was being thrown out so much, like he had to come and bat for me and be like, I don't want Eliza gone. And so it became quite apparent to some key players that like, if you really want to get in with Jackson, Eliza has to go.
Yeah. And we've also got to talk about this other iconic moment that happened as well, where you're seeing the numbers on the board, you're seeing that you and Lyndall are on the bottom, and it looks like you wake her up in the middle of the night to tell her, hey, we are fucked. Probably not the best news to hear in the middle of the night, but yeah, like, I guess talk us through, you know, what's like going through your head at the time, what actually happened during that conversation, because I'm sure there's a lot more to the story than what we ever could have imagined.
And I know that like a lot of people, a lot of like players or like people in the community say like, yeah, of course it's really easy to know where you are in the tribe when you're watching at home, but when you're out on the island, it's different. For me, I knew exactly what was happening at all times. But that doesn't mean little boys and girls and friends beyond the binary, that does not mean that I implemented my strategy in an effective way. Just because you have the information doesn't mean you know how to use the information. I felt like for that short amount of time that I was there, I knew exactly what was going on. Until I was blindsided in a majority unanimous vote.
Hey, you had a couple votes on Loz. It wasn't entirely unanimous.
That was Jackson and Harry, and Harry's was vote. Like, I mean, I just got to lean into my delusional. But that's true. Exactly. But like, I did know the order of the tribe. At that point, I was so cocky. I actually thought that I could write my whole thing, and it's on record. Is like, I wanted to be the bottom of the top and the top of the bottom. That's where I wanted to be in that pre-game. And it was where I was. I was the bottom of the top of the top of the bottom. I was sleeping in the middle of the tribe. I was able to scoop up like 1 or 2 votes and suddenly create a middle faction that had real like weaponry between these huge ego titan players. Like, and that was my, like, I was cooking. But like in a game like Survivor, you got to strike. You can't cook a slow cooked roast in the oven. But yeah, so I knew that I was in the bottom. And do you know what is so fucking delusional about it is that I was like, yeah, they're playing right into my hands. Now I'm on the bottom.
Do you want to know the best part about this plan is that no rudder can stop me?
You think you're in control? I'm in control.
Yeah, I'm in control.
As I'm like putting sandbags on top of myself and pouring water all over it. I'm in control of this. You know, exactly. Yeah, it was crazy. So I kind of was like, all right. Once on day four, once I'd gotten my confidence of locking Jackson in, and I felt like I had a great working relationship with Richard. Richard really, really wanted to play with me. But I didn't, in retrospect, I didn't do a good enough job of validating that relationship to him. He needed a lot more, I guess, like, FaceTime and validation than I was giving. But in my mind, I was like, we're locked, we're good. But he was like, but you didn't say it to me every morning and every night, and you didn't write me a love letter. He really, really needed that validation. And this is my bad. Like, this is my bad. That's what landed me back in Sydney. So yeah, I wanted to I didn't wake her up. She was like, she was in bed and she was like rustling around. She was getting organized to go to sleep. She was not asleep. I wasn't going to wake up a sleeping Survivor player. But yeah, so I just essentially wanted to, because obviously Eliza in that part of the game was convinced she had an idol. So I was like, great. My plan was, I knew I had Jackson. I knew I had I believed I had Richard. And my next step was to get Lyndall, who would have brought Loz, to create this 4 with Jackson. That my plan was to present to Harry to get Lottie out, because Harry was very, very, very nervous about Lottie. And I wanted to present an option to Harry to get Lottie out, because me and Simon had an alliance, but Simon had an alliance with everyone, but he did have an alliance with me, but Lottie was his +1. So I was like, we need to get Lottie out so I can like be Simon's cuddle buddy at night, because Lottie's got that place and I need that place, because as we spoke about earlier tonight, that was my +1 to merge. Like, you got to pick your returnee. So that was my plan. And it really came undone when I told Lyndall that she wasn't where she thought she was so powerful. Like,
Yeah.
she believed she was so king shit of that tribe. And I was like, I'm going to be the one to tell you you're actually on the bottom. And I think probably I really underestimated how fucked up that is. Like, to destabilize someone's perception of themselves that quickly can like really bite you on the butt. But like all I had understood from Survivor was that like it is a gift to let someone know where they land in the tribe, but like it is not received well by her.
And what was the, like, I guess your plan going into tribal council? Because obviously you lose the challenge, and obviously you guys do end up voting for Loz, but Loz is like in your group of 5 that you're sort of planning to.
No, I
push
never
ahead in that way.
had a conversation. I never ended up having a conversation with Loz. Because after that conversation with Lyndall, it was like so apparent that it had gone so badly. And by the morning, I had heard that Jackson's name was being thrown around, or that like it was just no bueno. Like it had not gone well at all. Like I thought it might had gone well by the time I went to sleep. But by the time I woke up, like it was so clear that, and I also that night was like, Lars, can we speak later this evening? And she was like, like, and it was like just so clear that like, no, like no bueno. The plan had not gone to plan. So when it came to Scramble, when they were like, let's get Loz, I was like, beautiful. Let's go. I'm actually really glad that they didn't put in a lot of the footage, because a lot of the footage was me going around to players going, hold on a second, a unanimous vote twice in a row in like a tribe, like I don't think that's ever happened before. And I was like, wow, this is a miracle. This is a Survivor miracle. I was like so excited. I was like, yay. But like they didn't broadcast that, thank God. But yeah, I was so like, I was like, yeah, Eliza, it's so unbelievable, because they were all coming for you. But and that Scramble, I was also in medical for like a significant portion. I had vomited. They don't mind me talking about this, but like I had vomited all over Paula and Jackson on the way back from that. And I had on the way back from the challenge, where we lost. So on the way to Scramble, I had vomited, covered them all like in vomit, and there was like a full stop down for an hour and a bit while I was like unable to make it back to make it back to camp. I was like, taking water and just I was unable to, I'm not able to say like that much about like behind the scenes, but like I was unable to make it back to the camp. And when we all did make it back to camp, I was pulled to medical. I had heat stroke like the day before, and I was like just not doing well. My condition was deteriorating throughout the days, and like so medical was like, we need to pull you. And do you know what? I distinctly remember one of the producers coming into the medical tent going, can we hurry this up? And I remember looking at the producer being like, how dare you? This is my medical treatment. It will take how long it takes. And like, I remember being like defensive of the medical team. And now looking back, I'm like, it was my scramble. And I was like in medical. Like, of course, the producer was like, can we hurry this up? She's got to get back to the beach because she doesn't know she has to fucking fight for her life. Like, and that sort of things that you look back on and you're like, oh, wow. Like, I was in medical going like, no, they still need to take my blood work. Like, I was just trying to fought my own health, but now looking back being like, damn, like I actually should have probably been on the beach.
Yeah. So what you should have done is you should have tried to apply for the 24-hour medical rule. Just be like, no, take your time, doctor. Take your time. Take 24 hours. How smart would that have
Get
been?
me offside. Yeah, I should have just snapped my own fucking forearm like on the table.
Yeah. Just start going machine and be like, I will chop my fingers off. I will chop my fingers.
I am a risk to myself and the people I love.
Exactly.
Like,
I am a walking safety hazard.
So when I came back to Scramble, there was like things that were like that. I was like, look, like this doesn't make sense, but I'm fucking sick. And like, if you have an answer, let's go, rock and roll. I was really like, I guess like the player, the naive player in me, I would not have been able to give you a reason why they voted me out. I was like, why would they vote someone like me out? Like, I'm contributing around camp and I'm unwell. Like, I'm not a threat to anyone. I'm open and willing to play with anyone. But what I didn't anticipate was people's lack of a incentive to keep me in. I was only sort of focused on people's incentive to vote me out, and I couldn't see an incentive for them to vote me out. But I was blind to like, but what incentive do they have to keep you in? And like that is something that like I was like, oh, I didn't actually like think about that.
Yeah. And how was it? You're sitting at tribal, you think they're playing this Loz, there's another unanimous vote on Loz, and the parchment reads out Eliza. What is that feeling sitting at tribal, seeing your name come out so many times?
It feels really distinct. It's like a perfume that you smell and that like you always sort of like remember, even when a girl walks past you at a mall and you're like, oh, that's that perfume. Like it felt like lightning. Like I'm not mean like that in like a metaphor. Like it felt like a huge electrical bolt went through my skull and like all the way down into the ground, like you'd been electrocuted. And like I think that now looking back, I think that that's just your nervous system in your body like shooting off as many like you're gonna die like messages. Like it feels really quite electric, and everything's in slow motion. But yeah, I remember that was actual feeling when it's like boom, boom, boom. But in the lead up to that, like it's so painful because like any fantastic murder mystery, you have all of the clues in front of you. I had all of the information in front of me to know what was going on if I had looked at it from hindsight. And so like the tribal was saying like right from the get-go, tribal was like, tonight's a blind side, tonight's a blind side, tonight is a blind side. And they were all bragging about it. Cameron said something like not so compassionate about like punching whoever's getting blindsided in the face, like he's trying to make like some clumsy knockout thing. And I was like, that's a fucking harsh thing to say to Loz. Like, wow. But also realizing like tonight's not in my mind, I was like, tonight's not a blind side. I was like, tonight is not a blind side. Like that's so it's like you start to go like click, 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 click. But like the preservation, the human in you just wants to pick the dream so bad that like you obviously, I don't think that there's anything I could have done, but like I definitely knew that there was something up because like right before we went to tribal, producers pulled me for an interview and they asked me like, so if it was you tonight, how would you feel? And I went to go, I was like, it's not me. I was like, yeah, well, that would feel really shit for whoever's going. I stopped myself. And then I went like, wait. I was like, I know, I'm like, I've watched enough Survivor to know, like, if you're being asked this question, you're in trouble. And so I like answered the question in a different way, that I was like, look, if this is on the sunset of my 7th day, I feel like I'm finally integrated into the tribe. Like, fuck it if I get voted out. So it's like, but I still didn't really, I really hoped that it wasn't me. I was deluding myself into thinking it wasn't me. But like, obviously, looking back on the information I had.
Yeah. And how was it seeing your torch get snuffed?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yes. It's like one of those moments that you go like, you like walk up with your little stick and you like put it down into the hole, and like you're like, wow, this is like actually happening to me. It was one of those like, it was one of those like, I guess like when you get to meet Mickey Mouse at Disneyland, like it was half, it's half sad, it's half like, wow, he's gonna say, Eliza, the tribe has spoken, and I get to say, they have. Like it's like those moments where like you've just seen a million of those and you get to like do it. Like it's really fucked up. Survivor's really fucked up that like even the shittest elements of the game you actually really like, because you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm sleeping on the ground. Just like all those other heroes of mine. Like, it's really bizarre. But yeah, I loved getting my torch snuffed. It does make like a big pop, like as the flame gets, it does have like boom, it does go boom. And I got to tell you, oh yeah, this is probably good information, like insight that I can probably tell you, is that like tribal is pin drop quiet. It is the quietest place that you will be in your Survivor experience. When you're out on the beach, there's always the waves that are flowing in and out. There's always the wind through the trees. But where Tribal Council is filmed, it's like this open air studio. And like, of course, like I'm aware that there's hundreds of people standing around in the dark being like, but like you can't see anyone. It is so quiet and it is eerie, and it is so quiet that they need to put on a white noise machine while we go up and vote. They need to blast things through speakers because otherwise you will hear us vote and you'll hear us talk. Like it is so quiet. And so when you go up and you put your thing in, like you really hear the flame. You hear the flame go out, and it is like so tense, like because it is so quiet. When it's like, Eliza, like it is that slow and that quiet that is like, and that's why it's like, it's so intense, because when you're given like a really hard question at Tribal Council, you can hear a pin drop. And when everyone looks at you, it is like very loud. And that's why I think it is so like kinetic, and why fucked up things happen at Tribal, because it is so quiet that you can only hear your own voice for the first time, like the entire process of the game.
Yeah. And how was it being a super fan of the show? Obviously, you didn't, as super fans, we all think, like, we all can see us playing like this grand, amazing, spectacular game and whatnot. And obviously with you, you went out a week into playing the game and quite early on. How is that for you? I guess flying back to Australia and stuff, knowing that you didn't make it as far as you hoped it to be.
Oh, it was actually so hard. Like, as I said, I was like dating a Survivor player at the time. So it was like really hard to come home to him. And like, it was, but also like, it took me 3 months to actually feel like I was out of the depression of being voted out. Like, this is why I say, like, it's an extremely disruptive game because, like, if you go out early, you have to be at home knowing that other people are playing the game. And, like, you don't know whether actually anyone wants to be your friend. You don't know, like, what's true or not. And you're just hearing the story as people get eliminated. And, like, I just felt like there's nothing more primal than that rejection of having a tribe say, we don't want you here. Like, that is so primal. That goes right to, like, the tiniest, most, like, Jurassic parts of our brain. It's incredibly effective. I thought that I had a lot more to do with why I went home than I actually did. Like, so I actually thought it was, like, all my fault. So I was, like, being super hard on myself. And then only when I sort of had been able to speak to people in my tribe and other people who had heard about my game that I realized, like, I actually had way less to do with why I went out than I thought. And that, like, luck and circumstance and, like, that one wrong conversation that you happen to have with the one wrong person, like, can be all it takes. And, like, I guess I just took a lot more responsibility than was accurate. It was all Lyndall's fault.
Yeah. We can always just blame Lyndall.
Do you know what? And bless her, she bloody takes it on the chin. She's like, okay, fine. No, but yeah, it was really hard. And that's why it's like, you can see why, like, Survivor breaks up marriages and relationships and families, and, like, because you come home. The best way that I can describe it is like Peter Pan. Like, your Wendy and her two little brothers, after they have come home from Never Neverland and they've come back to winter in London, like, but all they're thinking about is, like, the Lost Boys and, like, buckling pirates and dinosaurs and, like, crocodiles and, like, in the rainforest, and, like, you're stuck in London thinking, like, was that even real? And, like, a lot of the time in that book in particular, they talk about, like, Wendy and her two brothers always looked at the window to either make sure that Peter Pan could come back, or that, like, Wendy, like, barricaded her window to make sure that Peter Pan couldn't come back and, like, take her children. And so it's like, I guess that's the best analogy for, like, the game is, like, you're in Never Neverland. You have to grow up. You can't be like Peter. Like, you have to grow up and come back home. But, like, it's so disturbing, like, because no one knows what you've gone through except the people that are still on the island.
Yeah. And obviously at the start we talked a lot about your redemption, right? You know, that Survivor was a journey you had with, like, your ex-boyfriend and whatnot. That was, like, really hard for you. Did you feel redeemed after playing Survivor?
Yes. Yeah, in that context, absolutely. Yes, like, a million times. Like, like, I was like, I think that a part of my, like, recovery after getting voted out is because, like, I felt like such a loser. I felt like no one was going to take me seriously, like, because I wouldn't have taken me seriously as a fan. But, like, when you're a player, that's so opposite to what's actually happening. Like, you are a player. It's kind of like, you know, when you play Monopoly Deal with your friends, just because one of your friends won that round, that doesn't mean that, like, you aren't a good player. It means, like, you got to play again. You got to reset the deck. Like, and I got so much respect and love, and, like, people respecting my game, that I was like, oh, it's a game. I'm a player. I lost that hand and that round, but, like, that doesn't mean like it just, I had to go through it to understand it. But when I came out, I was like, I felt like such a ding dong, but realizing like none of the players thought of me like that.
Well, I mean, even from the outset, like, I don't know if you remember, but we did a cast breakdown and like we did like a brutal prediction, and
Yeah.
our boy Survivor Twists reached out to you and you'd sent us like this beautiful like voice memo of like prep and stuff for the game and whatnot. And I was like, she's incredible. She's amazing. And so I hope you.
I don't remember what I said.
I've got no clue. I still have it saved on my drive though, so I'll have to like find it and like resend it to you. But yeah, it's like right from the jump, I was like, yeah, Eliza is a really cool chick. And I hope you know that, you know, it's like it's not about what you come, it's about who you are. Right. And so
yeah, but like also, you know, being able to make, you know, like it's one of those things where it's like there are definitely players that make it right to the very end that don't have that effect with the audience that like I've been lucky enough to get. So it's like I also need to give a lot of credit to my edit. Like I loved my edit. My edit was like just perfect and was just like the dream edit for someone who goes out early, which was like, I did nothing wrong but try and play the game. Like, which is like perfect. Like, of course I did things that were wrong, which we've discussed about tonight, but like, yeah, I've gotten so much love from the community and all I have heard is like, we want to see more of her, which is like, as you know, working in film and TV, that's where you want to leave them. Like you want to have that, you want to connect with people and not give them enough. Like you want to leave them wanting more. But I really appreciate you saying that. Like I definitely do. And that is something that like I want to give to like the future Survivor players of like, once you're in the club, once you are in the club, you're in. Like, and really your placement, it's about your effect on people. Like, there's so many insignificant players that went all the way to the end that no one remembers, that aren't a part of the community, that like, you know, didn't leave their mark on the game. Like, it just is like,
One of the biggest examples is Tarzan from Australian Survivor season 2, 4th boot. But when you actually look at like the characters that season, he's probably in the top six characters that season, and that's why he comes back for All Stars because everyone remembers
still
him.
Remember him. He's just like like you need to capture. I don't think that I did such a successful job that like Tarzan did, but like it is that testament of like you get one good episode. And that does a lot of like, my episode was so good. And that like, I couldn't believe it. My therapist was like, Eliza, I have been working with you for months trying to like peel you off the floor like a little squished frog every week. And then suddenly it comes out. And I was like, this is amazing. This is great. And she's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, and I was like, because the product is so different to like my experience, but like the product was my dream. Like, I think it represented who I was to my friends. I didn't get to show who I was as a player, but like, fuck it. Like, I didn't get purple edited. I didn't get like a ding dong stupid moron edit. Like, it was great. I was so thrilled.
Well, what did you think of the rest of the season?
I loved it. I loved it. Like, it was so, like, I loved that, like, so I love that Harry went home early. That's
what you get, Harry.
Yeah, I did love that he went home early because, you know, Jackson was so angry about it. But like, I love that there was that dynamic of like these returnees that like fell at different spots in the game. Like, I love like Baron Tribe's dynamic. There was so many big players on Baron. Like, we're talking Blanche, we're talking Don, we're talking Ben, we're talking Tez. Like these are the characters that like I would have loved to have played with. And like it was just such a sweet season. Like, and I think that it culminated in like I loved and was so proud that like we had a final 2, but it was genuinely like we weren't sure who was going to win it. Like we were sure, but like not exactly sure. And like I mean, we as in like a collective, because we're all talking with each other about who the jury voted for, and we're all like trying to get together who the votes were for. And I thought that was so exciting because like the other Australian Survivor seasons that I'd watched, it was like a bit like, well, you knew who was going to win it, but like knowing as a player that I wasn't exactly certain, like I was pretty certain, but like not exactly certain, like that was really exciting to me as a fan. And like I was like, this is awesome. I love that it's coming down to the wire, and that reunion episode was going to be like a genuine confirmation for us.
If you're on the jury, who would you have voted for? Jackson
hypothetically, we're only speaking hypotheticals. I was voted out at 3rd. I'm voting for Caleb.
Okay.
Yeah, like if I had hypothetically stayed in the game until merge, that probably would have been because of Jackson. So then my vote probably would have been for Jackson. But I think that like just looking on the edit, that I think that for me as a hypothetical jury member, him voting out Ben in the way that he did was the big fundamental mistake for me that would have that took away my vote for him. Just that like kind of at that stage of the game, I don't believe that Jackson had a true like understanding of the numbers and how that could interact with like, you don't need to get your own shield out, like give it a few days and that will happen on its own. Like I just feel like that him getting Ben out at that particular point gave Simon the credit, whereas like if he just let time do it for him, like then it would have been his move. But I think that because like that was such a loud move that Simon made, it really probably detract. I don't know. I genuinely don't know this from the jury's point of view, but like that's my anticipation that like that would have been understood as Simon's move, and like which I thought was unfortunate. And also that like Caleb just did such a good job of being able to manufacture, I guess, that move between Mark and Ben. How is a guy like him, like he was the guy that was saying like right from the start, like, let's vote him out, or like when he goes, vote him out. Like how is he able to survive on a tribe with Mark and Brooke for so long? Like how is he able to create that dynamic of going like, let's get him, but then be Mark's number one? Like I think that's a real testament to his like likability, and also like the kid has so much life experience. He runs rings around Jackson in terms of his ability to understand human beings, to be compassionate, and to like really understand life. And like, not to say that Jackson doesn't understand life, but like his age was unfortunately like not in his favor. Whereas like Caleb had so much life experience that he was able to navigate the game. He was part of the reason, like when I met him, like in the pregame, I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm just some spoilt brat from Sydney. And like Caleb has so evidently done everything that the Survivor is a second time. Like he was playing like it was his second time because he's already done really tough stuff in life. Like I haven't done much stuff in life. He has.
Yeah.
So he just was like, Survivor, let's party. Like he was not worried about anything. And like I think that, but also like, I don't know. I really like Caleb. I think he's a very deserved winner. I think he played a really great game. And I think that his ability or inability to like communicate that in a way that, say, like Miles was able to articulate the game. I think that the jury was experienced enough to see through the articulation of a player's game because they can see the game. And I think that that's probably what Jackson misunderstood, is that like, but I articulated myself better. Not that he said this, but like Jackson obviously articulated himself better, but like that doesn't mean that the experience on the jury is gonna like see that. Like they're gonna see the great game no matter how you articulate it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes so much sense. It really does. And I'm actually really sad, Eliza. I really am, because that does kind of wrap everything up, you know, about our chat tonight. It's literally 3 hours in. Are we to take a guess, Eliza? Take a guess what time it is for me right now.
For you?
Yeah.
1 a.m.?
Really close, but no.
2, 12, 11.
You're closer with your second one. It's 1:22 a.m. right now. And I've had an absolute blast chatting with you, Eliza. You've been so great, so kind. And generally, this is my favorite deep dive of all time. Like it really is.
God.
I'm being dead set. I mean, like straight up serious. So funny because the one with Tears is just about to be uploaded. And I enjoyed this one a lot more than I did with Tears. Like you're so loving, Eliza, and like I really have enjoyed all the insight you've shared with all of us, like Survivor fans, not just here on this podcast, but just like in general. You're so open and so raw about everything, and I think that's what makes someone truly a great person. And yeah, you're outstanding.
Thank you so much, and thanks for staying up until 1:22 in the morning.
Anytime.
Everyone who's made it to this point, make sure that you reach out to either one of us if you want any advice about playing Survivor, because like you're in the community. And like Michael, thank you so much. Like we would be nowhere without you, and I can't wait to see you at another. When are you coming out next? Like we're gonna have like games nights. You can beat me.
Would be fun. Yeah. It was literally beginner's luck. But now it's really funny. So for Rich's watch party, I wasn't gonna go because I was actually in Brisbane. So my plan was to do just Brisbane and Gold Coast, and that's it. But Michelle was really pulling my leg. Tears especially was pulling my leg. There's so many kind of other things and whatnot. Like Sally even was pulling my leg a wee bit as well. And I was like, you're not fine. I'll go just one night. It'll be fun. It'll be all right. It'll be fun. And yeah, it was the highlight of my whole trip.
Do you know what? It honestly was the highlight. It was a highlight of like a lot of players' Survivor experiences. And like, I feel like our year group has been given a lot more freedom and a lot more like little treats that other years haven't gotten. And I hope that they stick with it for next year. Like I hope that like newbies do their charity watch party. I hope that like me and Rich should have created a tradition. I loved that it connected players, fans, podcasters, and like family all in the same
Yeah.
room. Like my mom had the best chat. My mom the next day would be like, oh, did you meet Ethan? Oh, I love Ethan. I'm like, who's Ethan? And like it would be some super fan that like has been chatting to my mom all night. Like that sort of community is like
It's so cool.
And you definitely were such a highlight of that night. So we're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, well, next season, it's been filmed in Malaysia. You know, if you and Rich are doing another one, let me know. Plenty in advance as well, because I was going to go to the live final. Had the tickets to go and everything. However, it was the first week of school holidays. Take a guess how much the flight tickets were.
Oh, and especially with the war.
Yeah, so you got the war and the first week of school holidays, and it's like across the Tasman.
$600.
Not even close. More.
$1,100.
Still more.
What?
Yeah.
I think the production should pay for your flights. I'm going to say it's $1,440.
It was 1,500. And bear in mind, this is to fly there and fly back like literally the next morning. It was we respect, so crazy.
And do you know what? It was a hard night. It was a hard night. Like it was a fun night, but like not a $1,500 night. No, sir. But like, we're going to create a $1,500 Survivor experience for you next year or this year.
Oh, thank you.
This year. It's happening right now. Well, I mean, like auditions will probably be closing right about now. They'll be filming in a few months, and then everyone will be eliminated and we'll be all partying again.
Exactly. Woo! Well, let's make it grand, spectacular. We'll make a huge event of it all. Actually, I had a real fanboy moment just before I went to your watch party. Well, like the watch party of the event. And that's because I was hanging out with Simon and Alex from Speaking Llama in Brisbane. And Simon...
Alex, what the hell?
Alex, I know, love Alex, is a legend. But Simon showed me a text message that Richard sent him. It was a list of special guests. And my name was above King George. And I was like, oh my God! Oh my and then you got Michelle and I to stand as well. So, oh my gosh, I'm a celebrity in Sydney. I got to move over, you know. But
you are. Like, I mean, you give as much to us as we want to give back to you. Like, why wouldn't we love on you? Maybe we could have like a podcast kind of themed event, like a live recording of like, we get all of the podcasters, get like Alex, you, Shannon, let's fly out the Survivor Now guys. Like, you know, and it's like, and memes, and like we could have like a big night like that.
Yeah. No, I was trying to drag memes to come to the Rich party. I was like, man, I'm going from Brisbane. You better come from Melbourne. But it's just like, nah. Useless Australian Survivor Facts. Massive shout out to him. He's got to come at some point as well. It'll be a real hoot.
I think it'd be good. But until then, you've got to go to sleep, young man.
But just before we do though, well, why do I have to sleep? It's morning. Good morning, Eliza.
Yeah, rock and roll. Let's do
rock and roll. Yeah. No, but where can people find you though?
Great question. You can find me probably here on my Instagram, Eliza.Reilly, and find out all my stuff. Like I'll be writing a few projects. I'm already writing a few TV projects this year that you'll be able to find out, but like, and hosting some stuff. But yeah, anyone who is like getting close to auditioning or like getting close, please reach out to me. Not that like, why would you fucking reach out to a third person, Boot? But like, you've heard me now. I've sent out the invitation. Exactly. But like, yeah, anytime. Like, we love the Survivor community, and we just got to keep it growing and Keep it cool. What about you, Mucky Hope? What's coming up for you?
Well, what a great segue, because make sure you subscribe for Cheeky Naughty Times. This is what we're all about, Eliza. Cheeky Naughty Times. What is something that you got up to on your 7 days while playing Survivor that was cheeky and or naughty? Now, this doesn't have to be like OnlyFans or anything. It can be as naughty as wearing Friday socks on a Wednesday. It can be like as cheeky as like stirring some drama. Like, what's something cheeky and or naughty that you got up to?
On the island?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Probably something cheeky and or naughty is that. Damn, I don't know what I can say. I would say that probably something cheeky and or naughty was that there was this coffee reward that we got.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I've got heaps of cheeky naughty stuff. So part of my cheeky naughty times on Survivor was stealing little things from production and hiding it underneath our shelter, because like I knew that they wouldn't look underneath our shelter. So anything that they like left around or anything that they were like, you can use this, but you have to give it back to us, like the sugar and the ground coffee from our coffee reward, I would be like, Richard, go get your bag. And I would like shove like as much production, like utility shit, like these like laundry bags that we had. Like I would like shove everything as much as I could underneath that shelter, because like I felt like that they couldn't find it and they wouldn't be able to give it back to us. But I loved my cheeky naughty was like stealing stuff off like any production member that like dropped anything. I'd be like, wow. Like
honestly,
like,
stealing is a lot of fun though. Like it honestly is like you shouldn't do it, I know, but like I also like to steal small things everywhere I go. Like the amount of pens, like this is my confession. I know no one from work is listening, but the amount of pens, the amount of like work knives that I've just taken home.
Cheeky naughty.
I know, so cheeky naughty.
And then I'll be worse when you've had a drink. Like when you get drunk, do you steal things?
Not when I'm drunk, no. It's like a sober conscious thing.
When I get drunk, I steal things, and sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, and I like have to return things and be like, I'm sorry, I was being cheeky naughty. But like when you play Survivor, cup of sugar, I'll steal a cup of sugar.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure where exactly it is, but one of my greatest drunken moments though was when this beautiful girl gave me a ginormous pink cowboy hat, and I still have it to this day. It's somewhere in my apartment. I don't know where, but it's like huge.
And you're saying that you stole her heart? Is that what you stole?
No. Yeah. I got to keep the hat, and that's the real prize at the end of the day. So
yeah, who needs a wife when you've got a cowboy hat? You know,
got a cowboy hat, exactly.
Yeah. But that's actually that's so cute. Where is the hat?
Yeah, it's somewhere in my apartment, like probably in my wardrobe or something. I've got too many hats.
And do you know what? It sounds like a personal item. It sounds like, you know, maybe some things are sacred, and this relationship between you and this anonymous, beautiful woman, maybe that's something to keep private. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I've no idea what her name is, but I love the hat. So, yeah. So thank you.
She knows who she is. She knows who she is.
Okay? Exactly. And that's what's really important at the end of the day. But something cheeky and naughty that I've personally been up to was I was working today and had this really annoying guy. So basically, with where one of my jobs is, it's like in a very like weird mall where it's mostly like abandoned. So there's some like very few things.
Ooh,
and people get lost.
A
murder mall, exactly. And we're like right on the bottom floor. Right? We're on the very bottom floor, like the lower basement. So people often come down thinking we're the car park. And so they're like, hey, where's the car park? But this guy, he was like, oi, tell me where the car park is. And I didn't quite like the
Right.
attitude. So I just kept on giving him the wrong directions. and it always kept like circling like around back to me. It's like, no, you went the wrong way.
Oh my god, I
so
feel like
funny.
that's so Harry. Like Harry would totally do that with you. That is the definition of cheeky naughty.
That is very cheeky naughty. I
and
feel like
so
that's
you
probably
it's that way. And then
well, no,
how did you get murdered?
So basically, it's like because there's so many different like floors and stuff, right? So I just kept on telling him to go to a floor, then walk upstairs to go to another floor. Then you got to cross down the other side, and like I just did it on a wild goose chase, and it was so funny. Last time I did something like that was when I first started working at your local pack and save New Zealand supermarket, and just because I was a rebellious, 18-year-old. I kept on telling people, like, they'd be like, oh, where's the bread? Oh, it's in the milk aisle. Just like send people the wrong places to buy products. So I do. 18-year-old Michael's not a good Michael to know. So
that is so funny. Oh my God. I would have.
Yeah.
Wait, do you reckon he's still in the mall, still trying to find the car park from your directions?
Well, I had to go up to go out, and I did not see anybody else there. So, yeah, it is. If he is still in there, I mean, normally, like when I try to leave around this time of the night or time in the morning at work, because sometimes I like to stay back and like really just lock in. All the doors are locked. You have to get a security guard to actually like let you out because I've got like the roller doors down as well that you can't physically lift up. Awful. So, yeah. So if he's still in there, he's not making it back out to like 9 a.m, honestly.
Yeah, and at 9 a.m, he'll be like, "Where was that car park again?"
Exactly. And he's just like. Exactly, and he's just like lost on some random floor. It's like he's somehow gone into like the back rooms or something like that. It's it's not looking good. Yeah. However, coming up,
if you see him tomorrow, give him my love.
I will. Yeah, but coming up on the channel though, by the time this is out, a interview with Tears would have dropped. We're just about to also upload a deep dive with Blanche. As well, that's gonna be a real hoot. Can't go wrong with Blanchy, as well as a video with Australian Survivor members Michelle and I breaking down what we love about the new age of Australian Survivor and what we're hoping to see in the future as well. V and Drew are doing a great job covering American Survivor season 50. But wait, Eliza, there's more coming up soon. One of the biggest legends on the podcast is not me. It's not Michelle. It's not V. It is Coach Drew. And he's going to be doing 50 seasons in 50 days, where he will watch an entire season, do a podcast about that specific season on the same day. And he will do that for 50 days straight.
How's that even possible? 24 hours. Yeah. Oh, shit, 24 episodes.
No. So American Survivor, there's only 13 episodes majority of the time. So there's 13 hours podcast, normally around like 1 to 1.5 hours.
Oh my God.
It's 14 hours a day.
That's going to be so epic.
Yeah. He did it once before and I just loved seeing him. I think he did 46 and 46 and he looked so dead. So I can't wait to see him on the 50th day being like, how's it going, Trooper? It's going to be so cooked. But at the same time, Traders New Zealand is making a comeback, guys. Season 3 is coming out. I'll be covering that as well, alongside Tez as well. Tez will be joining me for that, as well as V, and maybe a few other cheeky naughty guests as well. Make sure you check out all of Eliza's socials. I'll make sure to link them in the description of this podcast as well. I've been your host, Mucky Hope, Kakitao North. Thank you so much, Eliza, for coming on. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Ciao.